thing. So like essentially it's this first story was this guy who got away with murdering his wife, and they had like life insurance out on each other, and it was because she was getting the she was trying to break the free diving record of like I think it's 160 or 170 meters deep, and
Yeah.
she made it to 171, but the husband
He was
essentially
defending the title.
no, like they just had issues or whatever, so he chose
Yeah.
that was the time to kill her, and he got away with it, but everybody in the comment section and like a lot of, like even the person who posted it was kind of like, this is kind of interesting that XYZ happened. So essentially the guy, he like, so for this free diving thing, you dive as far as you can go, but there's like an apparatus and like a balloon that inflates and brings you back up, and
Yeah.
they were using an experimental wire. So like usually you get a thick cord, and that cord is very sturdy and durable. And so they were trying like this ultra thin version for whatever reason. And so the reason why that's an issue is because you go down the cord and it measures the depth, I think, and so like you have like an axle around it, and so you kind of have to follow this thing, and the husband kind of forced it so it'd be on a stormy day, and so there was a bunch of waves on the surface, and so because it's like it's fine, but then as you go 100 meters deep, the cord starts like tangling a little bit, and so she got like locked in place for like 30 seconds and couldn't go. And that's not even the crazy part. The crazy part why people think that he did it is because uh he wouldn't let anybody check her balloon, and apparently protocol is like 2 to 3 people check it, just I'm assuming like a parachute, and so he
Yeah.
was just like, no, I'm the only one who's like allowed to touch this is a special dive, blah blah blah. And the wife just like went along with it, and the balloon never inflated, and so there was a bunch of like other divers with
Oh, he so
there.
did that shit, bro.
Yeah, a bunch of divers that were there to like check on her, right? Like they were around to like record this record. They
Yeah.
had enough air to refill the balloon, but the balloon wouldn't fill. And they had enough air to save her, but the thing was, at that deep, you can't like swap your thing, she'll instantly die. And so
Yeah.
she just had to like hope that the balloon would inflate, and it didn't. And so there was like apparently, I don't know who investigated this shit, but they're like, yeah, he's cool. I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah, that guy? No, no, him killing his wife, preposterous. Hey, go
Yeah.
apologize to him. How dare you say that?
And like everybody thought he did it. There was like I think he got like life insurance, that he completely scot free, not in
So,
prison.
so is it? Do we have a motive though? I feel like that for me, that's like the crux of it all. Like, does he have a motive for this entire murder?
I think it was just life insurance. I think
Okay.
like I don't know though, because they were there. They're both divers. Apparently they're like, you know, it's not like they're
Yeah.
just a new couple. They've been together for a very long time, which is why I guess she trusted him. But like all of a sudden, I guess it was like they were gonna have a divorce or something. I don't know. There was like a bunch of drama shit around it, so it was just kind of
That's
interesting.
wicked. No,
Yeah,
that's messed up.
yeah. So I don't know where I was gonna go with this intro of the 50/50 podcast, but hey guys, this is episode X, because I'm gonna insert the number
We
when I
keep
go
on
to
forgetting the number. Yeah,
post it.
that's just how it is. I will be more surprised if we know the number than not.
Yeah, like you know how most podcasts they number their stuff? Like, do we have to? Like, does it actually matter?
You
Does
know what? Wait, no, wait. That's so smart. I don't think we should number it because think about this, Par.
uh-huh.
If you number your podcast and if you have a super high number, like let's say we hit 275, right?
Yeah.
And then we get new people who want to watch the podcast, they're going to be like, dude, I want to watch this podcast, but they're 275 episodes in. Like, I'm not going to know any of the jokes. I'm not going to know this or that. I think there's actually a strategy to not number them. Maybe number it in the description, but not the title. I
Yeah.
think that might be the game plan.
I like it. I like it. So I
No,
think
that's Yeah.
The last few episodes I didn't do it, but you know what? Let's keep doing that. And you know
Yeah.
what's funny? It's even better. Big brain. We could just put episode 1 on every episode.
Oh, no, wait. If we ever have to rebrand, we should name ourselves the Episode 1 Podcast.
Oh my! Wait a second. That's
That's kind of smart, huh?
gamer. Wait,
Yeah. You
dude.
guys are witnessing the birth of gods right now.
The unintentional stumble into godhood, bro. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, because I was just sitting
Hey,
there
you
like,
know what
why
it
do they
is?
number it? Like, do they actually talk about, like, you know what I
Who
mean?
started the numbers?
Yeah, for podcasts specifically that aren't like episodic, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like there's
Yeah.
a plot to podcast, right? Like, why is it like, we get Anderson Cooper and I just thought, and then Wolf Blitzer. I don't know why I thought of CNN anchors, but we get them, and it's like, why is this episode 1 and episode 2? Why not just like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. And then if we have a guest, they're like, what episode is this? Be like, I don't know.
Yeah, who cares?
Like that's how it should be. You know what? Yeah, no, this is a goated idea. Don't steal this, guys. This is ours.
Are we gonna start a new trend? Oh man, we're gonna
This
start
could be meta. This could be meta.
podcast chaos, bro. Spotify, everyone, their systems are gonna be so janky soon.
It's gonna be on like Spotify headquarters is gonna be on fire. So if you guys live near San Francisco, keep an eye out. The weather might be rough.
Oh no, I hope Spotify, like, if you talk badly about TikTok sometimes, no, on TikTok, what it is if you say like, go check out my YouTube, or you say like go on Instagram, they'll shadow realm you instantly.
I actually got banned for that.
Wait, what?
Yeah, my TikTok account that I made for like my YouTube shorts actually got banned because I had my YouTube handle and the YouTube logo in my videos. Because hear me out, nobody's coming here for the YouTube analytics, but people will take my YouTube shorts and they'll repost it on TikTok as their own.
Yeah.
So I started watermarking my YouTube shorts with like my YouTube handle and the YouTube logo.
I was
But
gonna do that now.
that's actually against TikTok's community guidelines. Like I could put my handle on there, but I can't put YouTube logo anywhere near that.
Gotcha.
So I kind of got messed up. So my TikTok account is banned.
Interesting.
Yeah. So avoid the logos at all costs.
Yeah.
TikTok does not like it.
That's wild. You can use GIFs, but I guess it can't be in video because they have GIFs for YouTube. They just devalue your work.
That's crazy.
I
understand competition, but come on, bro.
Yeah. What were we talking about just before this YouTube thing? Because I was relating this for some reason.
We were talking about episode 1 podcast.
Oh, the spot, because you said Spotify headquarters burned down. I was like, I hope Spotify isn't like self-protective in that way, and then we just get posted up and they just insta rock our shit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Oh no.
That'll be hilarious. Oh wait, speaking of which, guys, speaking of getting banned, if you guys are from One Piece, come sub to my second channel because I think my first channel is in the gutter. It'll be linked down below. I'll comment and I'll add it. So please, shameless plug. Actually, a lot of shame. Please help a brother out.
That's fair. It's you brought it here, but these are some of our most loyal fans.
Yeah,
It's
rough times. I was in the most depressive state ever.
I think some of these fans might end up like just watching this content and not even our One Piece content. You know what I mean?
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, like it's kind of interesting the way things go. And one day you and I will have a considerable amount of following that is not related to One Piece, and it's going to be such a weird and foreign thing.
That's going to be our Vinland.
Yeah. No, that's so ironic you said that the way you
That's
did.
gonna be our Vinland. That's gonna be like a place where war and slavery don't exist. It's only peace. That's what I'm looking forward to.
You're not wrong. If we're being honest, and it's a multifaceted analogy for those of you guys who are trying to dissect what we're saying here. But
I'm okay. Let's be real. If they found us, it's probably from OP. Maybe we have like 10-20% that aren't from that. But I would like to imagine some people watch anime. Yeah. Right? If you're watching anime, if you're in that realm, go watch Vinland Saga. It's actually really good.
It is. It's actually an interesting thing. I'm planning on jumping onto Vinland Saga manga very soon.
Oh, I caught up in 4 days. It
Man,
is solid.
It's so good. I already know.
It's
Like,
so good.
I always tell everybody like I don't even recommend One Piece to people like randomly. I'll just do that through content, right?
Yeah.
Like, but like anybody who asks like a recommendation, Vinland Saga, instantly.
Vinland Saga. Yeah,
It's
that's one of my top ones.
it's such a it's not gonna spoil your anime perspective because Demon Slayer is a common one, but the animation is so spoiling. Like it spoils your senses for what anime can be like, is like, and whatever, that you just want that like candy crack cocaine. But then like Vinland Saga is also like very different too, so it's like a good gateway, kind of like Attack on Titans, right? Like it's like a western adjacent kind of thing. And then well, it is a western history, but like obviously anime. And
Yeah.
then on top of that, it's like there's like slow and meanings and a lot of like translatable stuff. Like it's not just like understanding a power system, so it's like it's a super solid one. And then the most important thing is the plot.
It's anime Game of Thrones is how I described it to my wife. I said, "Yo, like imagine anime Game of Thrones. It's kind of like that in a way."
I don't even like. I think it. Someone made that comparison the other day, and like, and they were making a direct like this character is this character analogy, and I kind of like I'm sitting back. I'm like Vinland Saga puts that to shame. Like honestly, it's in so many ways when you boil down some of the like thematics, the way that Game of Thrones came off. Sure, they were really good, but if you compare it to Vinland Saga, the
Oh, it's so
punch,
good.
the impact of some of those scenes is just like, oh
Uh,
my god, like my whole life like just got shocked because of it.
Hear me out, guys. Think of it like this. Here's my recommendation. But or here's my selling point. I am a very violent man by nature. What?
No, this is gonna go to a good place. I know it's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
go.
I have a lot of like, intrusive thoughts like, oh man, if I just like, killed this guy across the street, it would be pretty cool, huh? Kind of manly. But
Why did I
after
future
watching
sight
Vinland
this?
Saga and like reading the manga for it, I'm like, you know what, dude? I've almost changed. I've gotten softer by watching this show. I was like, dude,
He's
we're all
right.
just people.
Yes.
Like that's the conclusion I came to. I said, you know what, dude? I think peace is great. Like, why does there have to be what? I, in my heart, I said, you know what, bro? Why is there war? Why do people
This
fight?
is the same Sai who's wanted to breed monsters to murder us
I
all.
mean, I still agree with that take.
Yeah, you know, it's honestly
But I do see peace now. I see why peace is more valuable than war. But sometimes war, it has to happen.
no, what's funny is because if you really think about Vinland Saga, the flip side of it would be like Sai's world. Like in a weird way, that's what you'd get to. Oh my god. And
And there's a
it's
character that does that too, where you have some people fighting for peace through like peaceful methods, and then you have some characters who are like, I want peace, but to do this, I have to do war. Like I have to kill people in order to get peace.
you know what's
So
funny?
it's very good. It's a good show.
You know
Give it a
what?
try.
Like the first two episodes got me. Like that alone already told me how insane this author is. Can't like any series he writes, I need to peep it. Even if I don't like it, I just need to understand this dude
Yeah, just
because
just 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 read a little bit of it, and then I'm sure you'll get hooked. You're
yeah,
like,
the
oh,
first two things, and I told my wife this, like this thematic literally changed like my mentality. Not what Sai said, but like because if you watch my channel, I already had a lot of those things, but especially
I was
recently.
born soft. It's not meant for war.
No, I mean my upbringing showed me a lot. You know what I mean. I was adjacent to a lot of craziness, and you could hear a little bit more about that in the last podcast episode. But the overarching thing being like my recent One Piece content, some of the people have been like, why does it feel like Par's been watching a lot of Vinland Saga? And I'm like, you're not wrong. Like there's literally like maybe my four of my last favorite ones, while I wrote my script, while I was making the episode or the video, Vinland Saga was playing in my head, like this thematic, this thing, and and at the end of the day, you know what's actually funny is if
But
you are a One Piece fan, you almost should watch Vinland Saga because
you would, yeah, you'll appreciate it.
that's what inspired One Piece, a Viking show. So it's like that's a really good, I think. You know what? You know what? No, 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 no. This is homework. Why? We're going to Elbaf. And for a lot of people who don't know, if you don't know
No,
One Piece,
hey,
that's crazy. But like, Elbaf is a Viking area in the thing. That's not really a crazy spoiler. So cool, cool. Now you have that. But yeah, like since we're going to Elbaf, having Vinland Saga in the back kind of could help you a lot, for sure.
some of the mythology's there too. So I mean, hey, it fits. It fits. It fits.
Yeah, for sure,
Oh
for
God,
sure. I
what a
was
great show! What a fucking goated show!
Yeah, yeah. I was thinking maybe because we keep, I mean, we're still figuring out formats of what we want to do. We constantly bring up ideas and we kind of like shift to what's natural. But I feel like a general good like segment would be like
A watch party,
not a watch party, but like talking
book
about
club.
a recommending like one of our favorite shows or something like that.
Yeah, no,
Selling
that's
it
so
off.
dope. Yeah,
Yeah, we should probably do that more often. That's a solid one. I was trying to figure out how to segue Vinland back to the diving thing because that's not what the story I want to tell you about.
it was it like a murder mystery.
No, no. So that one put me on to this TikTok about holes, specifically Devil's Hole. It's so off rip.
Oh,
What does, given the context, what does that make you think of?
so wait, okay, so devil holes.
Devil's Hole. Devil's Hole.
Devil's hole. So the imagery I have in my head right now is like some bumbled town in Arizona.
Okay. No, that's solid. I don't know where this
I doubt I'm
is.
close, but
Are you close to the Devil's Hole? That is the question. Let me double check where this is actually. But
it sounds like a tourist attraction from like a
it's
horror
in
movie or something.
it's in Nevada. It's in a
Oh no, that's
dusty.
close.
Apparently this is the place that the next TikTok took me. And there's then when I Google searched this because I didn't remember the name, it took me to another hole. And there's a few holes that we're going to talk about, but this one was crazy because I just had an overarching question, but to get to that question I have to tell you this story a little bit, right? So
Yeah.
a group of friends, four dudes, they go diving in Devil's Hole. I don't know what Devil's Hole like actually is or should be because I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be like covered by water and then they dove into like this Devil's Hole place or something like that. But it's this like cave that's filled with water and you dive into it and they like it's like you literally enter through like a little hole in the ground and you go in and then it expands out to like I don't even know. It says 40 acres, I think, of like area. So it's a huge underwater cave, right?
Yeah.
And these friends go diving into it, and then like one of them gets like he's worried or whatever. He's like, oh no, I don't really like want to, blah blah. But he gets
He's a
peer pressured.
pussy.
He gets peer pressured. He's soft,
He's
like.
soft. He doesn't like war.
And so he goes in, and then apparently two of them got separated from the group or they were going in twos or something like that, right? And then one of them loses each other or loses the other, and then so they surface and then like the three of them all go back down and they lose another one, and so there's two people gone now. And so the two then resurface. I'm probably butchering the stories, but that this part doesn't really matter. And so they resurface, call for help, and apparently this is an expert in diving in the Devil's Hole. Okay, he's like the Navy whatever called him in. He's like, all right, I know it, I know this place.
Wait,
Like the
wait. Can I just ask a quick question? Is this real?
yeah, this is a real story.
Because the way you're making it sound, it kind of sounds like a plot to a horror movie.
No, this is a real story. This is an actual story. Like people die in here all the time, and like it just keeps on happening. But this story in particular is really, really because it leads. Okay, so the story itself is leads to an interesting place, but I have a question
Yeah.
overarching it that just, I think you're already getting to it, but like, so these guys go up, they call in whatever Coast Guard, even though it's in the middle of Nevada, and everyone's like, okay, we got to call the expert of Devil's Hole. He goes in, he's like, yeah, I know this place the back of my hand, and so apparently there's two inside caves inside of Devil's Hole that have like air, so you can like go down and then up, but the only way to go into this hole is you have to blindly, because there's no light, you blindly
Yeah.
scale the surface until you find like a dip, and you follow that up sort of vertically, and then you get to this like room. And so he checks there thinking that if the kids survived they would be there. They're not there. So then he's like, okay, there's one other place, but it's like harder to get to, but if they're not there then they're absolutely dead. So then he goes towards this new place, and I think like he was using a flashlight, didn't see anything, nobody there. And so all that's cool, but then he saw like a flipper or something, like he saw like something reflect on his thing, because nothing should reflect down there, it's like inside of a cave in the water. So he sees something, he goes back up, and he's like, I think they're dead, like they're actually dead, because it's been like 48 hours, 36 hours
Yeah.
is, they're not in the places with oxygen, they have to be dead. So he's like, but let me just double check, because I think I saw some stuff, and if I see some of the things and then confirm bodies, then we could do a body retrieval thing, right? So
Yeah.
what he does is he goes back down, he finds like a flipper, he finds like a goggle or whatever, and then he like him and his like, because he's not alone, he's with this other dude, one of his partners, they go in and they're like trying to find bodies, and then they get like, there's like a pull, like something's like pulling them to a spot, and he notices like this small hole, and that hole, he like, apparently as cave divers they carry like thousands of meters of string, apparently. And so
Hmm.
the reason why they do that is because they sink it, and they can measure the depth of various holes in caves, because they dive in these caves, and that's what they do. Okay, and so he drops his string down this hole to see like, okay, maybe they got lost in this hole. And so he drops this thing, and the string goes down 982 meters deep.
Oh.
And so then and so that maxed out his string apparently. And so he just like looked at his partner and said, well, all right, we're going up. And so then what he basically says is that there seems to be a new hole in this cave, and the cave is so deep that the pressure of it probably sucked in their dead bodies, and so their bodies are not retrievable. And then after realizing what this was, I might have scuffed up the numbers again on the thing, I think it was like 100, it was like, oh, very deep. I might have been mixing up feet and meters, but
Yeah.
either way, very very deep. And
A hole you don't want to be in.
yes, and so now they call it the Infinity Room, because they have no way of knowing, because no cave diver wants to explore that hole. It's actually banned. It's illegal to go down into the Infinity Room in Devil's Hole. It's illegal because they think that if you go into that hole, you'll never come out, because they can't.
That's kind of cool.
It's crazy, right? And this is inside
Yeah.
of a cave. So, and like the Infinity Room, Devil's Hole, this is all real. Like, it's so crazy that this exists, right? That led me to a few other cool stories I want to tell you about. But
That's actually that's a super cool story. I like that.
yeah, yeah. So I
I
was
love like
like,
messed up little things like that. It's like
it
something straight out of Junji Ito.
it's just in the middle of nowhere, like you surmised, the Devil's like hole, and then it just has an Infinity Room,
I like
and
to imagine it's just Lil Nas X.
what?
What?
Explain your joke. I feel like there was a few acrobatic loops I had to jump through to get to the answer there.
No, no, because Lil Nas X, he's a notoriously like bisexual guy. Um,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
and he, well, what is it? Like he cosplays the devil in like one of his music videos or
He
something.
sold blood in his shoes or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's something like that. And then I remember people were outraged about it. So you said Devil's Hole, and I was like, oh, that's funny. Let's make that
Uh-huh.
quick joke.
Yeah, you didn't explain the other half of how to get to your thing, but it's fine. It's fine. We're a
Hey, hey,
family-friendly
it's a
stream
good
here.
joke.
It's a good
It's a
joke.
good connection.
So that's the story. I think it's crazy. It's like so wild that this story is real. Um and it led me to a few other places, but I have to ask.
What's
Do
up?
you do you ever like you have I don't even know how to ask you this question. Would you ever do this? Would you ever dive into a hole in the ground? You know what I mean? Like, have you seen those videos where people like explore like these like crevices and they squeeze themselves
Yeah, they
in?
go like splunking and they're like it's like super claustrophobic, and then there's the whole thing where it's like if you go backwards your clothes is going to get tangled so you can't move and you get stuck. Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
would never do that. I
I,
don't know why I would.
okay, I don't know why I would. I don't know why anybody else would, right? I'm all for freedom of everything, but like, why? Like, why is
If
that?
people want to do this, they can. I'm not going to stop them, but I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, like it's freedom of life, sure, but I are like mentally, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this person can drive kind of comes up in my mind. No offense, like there's gonna be someone in the chat who unironically does this all the time,
Yeah,
and
I
they leave.
spelunk every day of my life.
Yeah, yeah, the flat earther as well, right? Because like the earth is flat, so they have to like I'm being one with the earth kind of bullshit, right? Something like that. And the overall point being like is is what version of you do you exceed like doing this? You know, is there any in the multiverses of Psy? Is there
There
one version, 1%?
The only way you could get me down that hole is if you told me my wife and family is down there and they need help. And then I'd be like, I wouldn't be happy about it, but I'd be like, well, I have to go, right? Like a man's got to do what a man's got to do.
Have you ever been diving like that, or are you like
God, no.
claustrophobic?
I'm not claustrophobic, but if I can avoid a claustrophobic scenario, I 1000% would,
Yeah,
right?
because you know it's really funny when I see the comments on it. It's like, "Oh, my claustrophobia is tingling." I'm like, "No, no, 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 no! You don't have to be afraid of closed spaces to be afraid of this situation. That's a completely sane thing. Like, that's a sane take to look at someone like squeezing themselves into two boulders and like looking for something. I don't know who told them gold is behind that crack, but there is like, I'm sorry to tell you, I don't know how to tell you. Excalibur is not in there. Like I don't know what holy grail you're trying to find, but it's
Uh,
not through devil's butt cheeks, bro. Like this hole isn't gonna get you anywhere. And then like you know, I don't know if anybody noticed throughout the story I was not emphasizing. I was emphasizing the people involved. The fact that there's an expert diver of this devil's hole is even more upsetting to me because like that guy is no better. Like I don't know. Like unless the government paid him because it was necessary,
No, I
sure, but
like
I
to imagine that he's like a disgruntled old man from like one of those action movies where like the kids go missing and then he like puts on his bootstraps and is like, oh, I have to do this again. I'm like, how many times? Into the abyss I go.
should we write this movie? Because that's what it is. Like, I don't want to look up this guy because I know I will be disappointed. That's the best version of him I can give. I want him to be like some Navy SEAL guy who is paid like you said, like the nuclear launch codes fell into Devil's Hole, and so you needed to get it, and that's why we know about this place because he spent 5 years searching every fucking part of this thing to be able to be like, yeah, I'm gonna save two kids, and then go back up and down, up and down, up and down, and then be as far to wait around in like a random hole to measure thousands of feet. Like, there's so many levels to this dude that is just upsetting me. I feel like
I
everybody else was reading that story for one reason. I was just like, ah.
I like to imagine it's like John Wick, how like at the start of every movie he has to kill again even though he's retired.
He's just
More
like
kids in Devil's Hole, they killed my dog. Just something like that. He's like
that's
upset.
you know what? I accept that as a movie plot. His dog died, like fell into Devil's Hole. He didn't know any better, and so he went down for Fido. Okay, and he spent years in disbelief, so much so that he built a house, like a hut, right next door, and all you had to do is knock. Like you have to walk like a mile or something. It's like, oh, Not another one. I'm still looking for Bessie. Oh no.
Bessie never came home. Like every time like he goes to Devil's Hole to like save some like random teenager, he like by his bedside there's a picture of like his dog and like a bottle of alcohol that's like poured over on the side. It's
Yo.
like this old guy like super jaded with life.
You
No,
know
that's a plot to a movie.
you know how sci-fi movies are like entryway for like it's kind of like how hentai is for anime. Like wait, that's a thing.
Say that again.
That's a thing. Because it's
Sci-fi
just
movies are a gateway drug to what?
to Hollywood, like to like you make like as a director, you start up there as actors, you start up in like the low budgets like Sharknado, right? Like those kinds of movies,
Yeah.
and it's just to get your name out there. Um, and
Okay. All right. Keep going.
I I don't know why I included all the other parts of this part, but what I was saying is like we could make a sci-fi thing. I know a few directors that are above that. They're doing like reality stuff, you know, in terms of like
Yeah.
tiers. I think like sci-fi, and then like there's reality, and then there's like you get Michael Nolan or Chris. Oh my God! Oh, Nolan
Christopher
movie.
Nolan.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan. Um, I am mixed up between all the Nolans, but
There's too many of them.
there's too many of them.
There's got to be like a Nolan genocide.
Oh no, not Nolan. Oh my God, wait, Nolan from One
Yeah,
Piece.
yeah, Nolan from One Piece too.
I know when you said that, that just triggered the theory. But essentially, so I think we could do this if you're down. If enough people, if we get this video to 1,000 likes, I will actually ask one of them if we could direct a sci-fi movie. Like there, because the thing is, like there's studios that or like casting groups that want stuff like that too. So it's like a whole ecosystem to make this stuff happen. I could
If
pull a few
if you were
strings.
to make a okay, so right now, like at the top of your head, if you
Yeah.
had to make the plot to a sci-fi movie, what would it be?
Okay, wait. This is a great one into the second story. Okay.
Oh no,
Yeah,
your
yeah.
stories are banging today, man.
Oh man, this is
Like
TikTok
I'm
fuel.
I'm kind of leaning back and I'm like, wow, like I was like these are pretty fucking solid.
So after I
What's
read
up?
the so this one isn't much of a story. It was more of like, yo, this is actually there is another story. Maybe if we have time at the end, I'll bring that story up. But this one is related to the sci-fi one. So you asked if I made a sci-fi movie, what would it be? So after looking at Devil's Hole, so I'll be honest with you. All I remembered from the TikTok was like the story and hole. I was like the hole. So I googled like holes on
Nice,
Google,
nice.
and
Oh,
like
what color holes did you Google?
a blue ocean, and so I got names. I got
God
I
damn,
got things. So apparently, blue hole is a thing in the Red
Smurf
Sea.
porn.
I think it's in the Red Sea. And so Blue Hole is another one of those places where people just sink in, but it's like you could see it on the surface of the water. It's really, really interesting. But I think like there's something like different about that makes it like super problematic. But I came across another TikTok too that was saying that they discovered an ocean underneath the ocean. So like this ocean spans 2,000 miles underneath like the earth's crust. And I like sat there and I was like, what the hell do you mean? Like what how does that happen? Like what, like I don't even understand what could come out of that first of all, because like if you're telling me there's like a whole ecosystem that could have just been preserved this entire time, but like the earth's crust like broke or tectonic plates broke and now we can see this like ocean, get me out, because like I don't necessarily want to be in the same space. And so I was seeing that, and then the other part of it, and I don't know which one would be better for a sci-fi thing, because you could create like the apocalypse hole. Oh my God, that's such a good sci-fi.
The
uh
apocalypse hole.
yeah, that's like a perfect sci-fi. That's like if someone saw that, like, a boomer saw that on like the TV guide, they
We
insta
gotta
click.
get this one.
Yeah. And so this thought process, because like I was trying to figure out before the episode like what exactly was I looking at, like how is it scientifically possible. And so apparently in recent discovery, I don't know how recent, I don't know if it's like an old thing that's been resurfacing, but apparently the creation of Earth was largely thought that like a lot of our water came from icy comets that hit our planet, and the ice melted and gave us our water. But an opposite train of thought now is that the Earth's core is what gave us the water. So back in the day, it was all dried up and like the water was condensed inside the rock. And it would be more accurate to say that the oceans are came from the course, the dense rock seeping the water out. And there was two modes of logic where some people took it to like the Earth's core is ice. And I was like, wait a second,
Oh, that'd be kind of
that's
dope.
yeah, like if like because that's like a whole. Everyone talks about the Earth's core, the volcano kind of thing, but you could write a whole different story, a sci-fi horror thing where the Earth's core melts. That's crazy. You know what I mean? I think that would be wild.
You know what's funny, Par?
What?
Right now, I can imagine people are like, yo, like, look at Par inside. These idiots. They don't believe the earth is flat, but they're willing to believe this BS. I think that'd be hilarious.
Oh my! At least it's still round in this example, guys. At
I would
least I
love if
got
that's like
that
one of the
right.
sentiments. I hope that's one of us. Hey, somebody, I don't even care if you don't believe in it. Somebody come here and like comment that.
Because and then you know what I just realized, because that could be how
The-
I think like Uranus, or is it Neptune, one of them is just gaseous, or maybe it's Jupiter. I think it's Jupiter, that's just like completely gas, like it's a giant gas ball. But if you think
yeah.
about it, if our core was like a lot of water in it, and then somehow it broke and then it hit our actual core, like the magma core, then it would create a bunch of steam, right? And then is that how you get one of those gas planets? That could be the birth of those things.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'm kind of down for any explanation that isn't boring.
Yo, oh,
I'm like a Thorkel from Vinland Saga. Just as long as it's entertaining, I'm chill.
the apocalypse is oh my god, wait, I got a cracked idea. It oh my god, this plays on environmentalism. So essentially, you know how like pollution's getting super bad? Like in
Yeah.
India and China, there was like reports during the pandemic that like on certain days, just going outside for a normal amount of time, like 4 hours or something, equated to like smoking like 100 packs a day or some shit like that.
Hey, free cigarettes? I'm in.
Yeah, but it's the high without the nicotine. That's so awful. Like, isn't that the whole point of all of you?
It's like a Jujutsu Kaisen like domain expansion of a smoker.
Yo, and so like on that trend, more and more countries are gonna be like that if we, become cities, industrialized, whatever. It'll be hard to counteract that. And then so what if you made it a story where like that was getting to a bad level, but it coincided with the earth steaming and creating like a gaseous state, and you don't notice because the pollution is there, so you just think it's like, oh, pollution is getting worse, but no, the earth is killing you and it starts steaming up. And so then at the end stages, that's where the sci-fi movie, like the scientists are like, oh my god, the earth is like they don't know how to communicate it, everyone ignores them, it's like, yeah, this is pollution, we already knew about that. No, and then it slowly rises and then they all die, but then the few are able to escape, and it's a story about how they survive, which I don't know if you could survive that because that would block out the sun, so you'd have to escape. And we're too dumb to escape, so it's like it's wraps.
We would just die. That's the end of the human race. Yeah.
I think that's a clean way to do it.
And then you have the main crux of the story is people coming to the realization that there's nothing we could do about this.
Yeah. Oh, and then we could recreate um Pompeii. You know how we discovered like the whole, like the people holding each other thing and they got melted over. But that wouldn't
Yeah.
really work with the steam because they would just have to like wait a very long period of time or something like that.
God.
Oh man. We have to add
Uh,
romance for sure. All the sci-fi movies have like forced romance. If we want to fit the bill and do a catch-all movie, have to have romance. What would you do though? What kind of romance would you have here?
um, the romance would be two people who normally wouldn't fall in love,
Uh-huh.
or like it's a premature love. Like maybe one likes the other and they're not on the same wavelength. But
Uh-huh.
because the world is ending and they come to the realization they can't do anything, they just say, "Hey, let's spend the final days in love then."
No, I got a super stupid one. The reason why they were opposed to each other is one of them was a smoker. And then so then by the end of the story, she gets over it. She starts, it's a huge propaganda thing for him.
That'd be pretty good. Yeah, and then we see like Marlboro packs everywhere. Like they're like sponsoring the movie.
Oh
That'd be
my
good.
god, wait a second. Should we? Oh my god, if we had, I mean, we just talked about morals before the call, but like hypothetical, Marlboro like accepted, we get like $10 million, $5 million to make this, right? Hire
Yeah.
actors, whatever, and we pocket a good sum. Would you do it?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
would I would always be down to make a movie. I don't You'd have to catch me on a weird day to say no.
Even one that's goofy, like this is the plot. This the one I just explained. That's what we're going with.
Any publicity is good publicity.
That was
I
the
would do it.
meanest thing you could have said to the plot of my.
You called it a goofy idea. I didn't say anything.
Okay, but the foundation of it is good, right? The smoking part was kind of goofy, but like that's for the sponsor, right? You have to
Oh
sell
yeah,
out
yeah,
for the
no, I
sponsor.
the idea is beautiful. Just looking for your reaction.
I shouldn't have taken a sip there. That shit was about to come out my nose. Oh my.
That was a great idea.
Yeah,
Actually, do it for free.
this the it's crazy because so far in the episode this is exactly how I imagined it when I came up with the when not came up, these are all real stories, well besides the movie I just made up, but like everything else was real. This is just as
You know how crazy that would be if these were made up? Just like out of nowhere, like by the end of the episode, say, yeah, by the way, guys, all of these stories are made by ChatGPT.
wait, we should do
That'd be kind of crack.
yo, we should some days that'll be like a challenge for you or me. Like we tried to tell each other a story that we heard and we had to call it bullshit. Oh my god, wait, that'd be
Yeah,
sick.
we won't know what to believe.
Yeah, and it's all wait, we would train ourselves to be really good storytellers if we did that.
Or we'd just be skeptical of everything.
True, we instill anxiety in each other.
Yeah.
We just don't trust anybody, not even you. Like we end up meeting and we're just like we give each other the side eyes because we just don't trust each other.
Yeah, I like to imagine like even my wife, like everything she tells me, I'm like, sure, Par put you up to this one? Was it ChatGPT? Like we have a kid and they're like, oh, here, honey, Sai, look at your son. And I'm like, yeah, sure, it's ChatGPT's kid. I get this one. And then
Oh
I start calling you,
no.
like knock on the doctor's door, like, hey, Par, good story. Hey, good one, man.
Yo,
Come
if we
out.
went that far, oh my god, that'd be legendary. I'm not gonna lie. That would
Never ending pranks.
if we sacrificed our ability to trust for that, it might be worth it for content, but like it might still be worth it. Oh my
That sounds like a
goodness.
Mr. Beast challenge, actually.
Just
Like I went
gaslighting.
30 days trying to prank all of my friends into I go 30 days gaslighting my friends into thinking everything's Chat GPT. That's a Mr. Beast video title.
Oh my goodness. I'm just imagining that. I'm laughing so hard. That's crazy.
We got to coin that one for us.
I forget where I was gonna yeah, no, but the stories are real, which is crazy because this next one tops all of them. And
This
this
next
one
story better be a banger.
this one is it's a banger because of this existence is so like I don't even know if I should say cool or like obviously a lot of people here from One Piece. One Piece has yet to show me something as crazy as this. Like this is actually more like there's one thing, it's called a knock-up stream, but this is like even crazier than that. So what I forget the name of this place. I think it's like La Sanda or La Sanza or something like that. It's like it's a river, okay?
Yeah,
On the surface it looks like a stream, a calm
Lasan.
river.
It's a funny name.
Yeah, I think I got the structure of the name right, but probably most of it is wrong. Just FYI. So if you try to Google it, Hit me up later because I don't remember right now. Don't want to look up the TikTok for this, but um, this river stream is known to be unsurvivable. You touch it, you die. That is its essential epithet. Anybody who has touched this river dies.
That's
And
so banging. I love that.
and the and so what the reason, okay, so a few of the stories, right? Like this like 5-year-old kid, he's on the riverside with his dad. They're traveling. I forget where this is. They're traveling. They're just there, unaware. The kid goes towards the edge. The edge breaks off. Gone. The dad reaches in. He's able to grab his kid, but the current is so strong, it pulls him in too. And so he couldn't save his kid. He died. And there was an onlooker who just, he knew what was up, and there was nothing that was possible. And so
Yeah.
the situation that you said, right? My wife is in Devil's Hole. That's the only way you'd get me down there. Hey, that's what happened. A couple was there. The wife was like taking a picture or something. She fell into the hole. Not surprisingly, the husband jumps in. Neither of them come back. A month later, or 3 months later, I think their bodies are washed up in different places, a month apart also. So 3 months for the wife, 4 months for the husband, in like places super spread out. And this is this continuous dogs, animals, whatever, people, they just fall in, gone. Now, how does this keep happening? Surely there's signs, surely there's warnings. Yeah, there are. But the thing is, it's so deceiving because the current looks still. It looks like it's going super slow on the surface, but beneath it is literally a giant like pipe of water. What is happening is upstream, there's a three, like I think it's like a mile, I don't even, not mile wide's probably excessive, but like a considerable width river that gets consolidated into a very small crevice, and it's deep. So basically what this river is it's a sideways river. And so what you're looking at is the side profile of the river, and the current is vertical. And so because that's how it's been going, it's been eroding the ground underneath it into a circle. And so when you get pulled in, it's not down, it's up and around. And the people, what they assume, because they can't even study this thing, is that the people
Yeah.
get stuck in walls and caverns that are built off the walls of the thing. And so they're not only can you are they instantly dead and sucked in, you can't even go in and find them. And they have yet to look into these places because the current is that strong that they don't believe that they could like actually do anything reasonable. It's like going through a waterfall in a cave, and like it's just, but the thing is, because the current beneath it is so fast, the top looks super slow, and it creates this crazy phenomenon. And I just thought that one was wild too, because I'm like, a sideways river that just instantly kills people. That's just
That's pretty wicked.
God's just playing games at that point. I didn't know that could
He's memeing
happen.
on you.
Yeah,
Like imagine like your final moments. You see God doing like the Fortnite dance with the L on his, like he's doing the floss dance on your body. Like, bro, why'd you do this to me?
yeah. It was,
Like,
oh,
how's anybody supposed to predict that?
the Bolton Strid is what it's called. It's
Oh
in
no,
New Hampshire.
it has a cool name too.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a
Oh,
rap.
I remember I was gonna
The Bolton Strid.
yeah, I was gonna ask you what you thought that name referred to. Damn it, I forgot. But like, I think,
I would have not guessed that.
yeah, like honestly, it needs a cooler name. But like, I'll send you a picture right now. Actually, I had to send it on Twitter if I'm gonna do it because I don't want to mess up the overlay. But like, this thing is just completely docile looking on the surface, and then beneath it is just a monster. Damn, we haven't DM'd each other on Twitter in so long. Oh, there we
I
go.
don't use Twitter. I only use Twitter to get sad.
Dang, the last thing I sent was my excited to hear what you thought of the Mushroom Pirate King. The Vanderdecken is a mushroom video. That's crazy. That was the
Oh, is that
last.
what it looks like?
That is the top of it. Oh, I could just send you
Whoa.
the actual link to
It looks
article.
so normal.
Yeah, it's the Boston Strid, and it's like it's crazy that, and like maybe I exaggerated, but like no, that's exactly what they described it. Oh yeah, 6 feet across, but at the top of it is like a much wider
Filled with
river.
peril.
Yup, some fun, scary stories, right? Because at least this one is understandable. The people who died in this didn't like choose to. You know what I mean? That looks tame. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I jump in there.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's gonna be an image, but if you look it up, guys, it's literally just a really unmenacing creek.
Yeah, yeah, the Boston Strid. Um, I can actually put it up in a second, in the overlay. Um, but that's mainly what I came with today. I don't know if you had anything other than that, or how did these stories make you feel?
I liked all the stories. And, I know we were talking about sci-fi for a second. I actually just thought of a really cool movie that I would almost want to mimic if
Ooh,
uh if we were to make a sci-fi film.
yeah.
Yeah, have you ever watched the movie Annihilation?
I always laugh when the like movie is just one like very common, and not very common. It's like a slightly edgy word, and I'm like, is this a
Yeah.
good movie or is it like a low movie? You know what I mean? But I don't know
Uh
if I've heard of or watched this.
it's an interesting movie. I guess that's like the best way to put it.
Thank you.
Uh, so
Appreciate that
the
description.
premise is very different from anything I've watched before.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, this husband goes missing in, I don't know what they call it. They call it like the glare, something ominous, right?
Uh-huh.
And what it is like there's this weird fog like sheen that's emerging from a forest, and it's expanding by like 10-20 feet every day.
Yeah.
And they send people in there to like explore it, because it's like, oh, like this is a mystery thing, eventually it's going to take over the whole world if it doesn't stop. So they send in a bunch of teams, the husband goes missing, and then he comes back one day.
Uh-huh.
But it's not, he's not there. It's like he's lobotomized. So the
Okay.
wife, who's also an explorer, is like, hey, like, I want to go on this mission. I want to find out what's in there. Like, what happened to my husband? So she goes in there, and everything in there is mutated. It's duplicated. Like, if you see like a plant, this plant has two colors. It's split in half. You see an animal, it's two animals combined together, or two animals
Oh.
that had genetics that mixed in. So I kind
Uh-huh.
of do something like that,
Okay.
because I think the concept of that is so cool. Like mixing and matching a bunch of different genetics and getting one organism. Have you watched the anime that's airing this season called Hell's Paradise?
No, but I have it on my tab though.
It is very popular, and the concept of the island they go to in that show is pretty much that. So that's why I've been thinking about Annihilation recently. The only reason I didn't like the movie is because they didn't explore the world as much as they could have.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a lot of there's a lot of ideas that they just kind of missed out on. But
Mm.
all in all, the movie's pretty fun. It's like 2.5 hours. The ending, people will argue about the ending and if it's good, bad, or what happened there, because it's one of those like open-ended, like, oh, like you kind of have to infer what happened.
So I might have missed it, but the place that they were going to, that wasn't man-made. It was just like something that they found.
Yes. There's an origin to it, but it's never like confirmed as to what it was. It originates from like a lighthouse, and that's like the center
Interesting.
of the fog. So they're like something happened at this lighthouse. We have to go find out what it is, and that's kind of like the main goal. Like, oh, like we need to get to the center of this,
Huh. You know, that
and
does,
it's interesting.
it's kind of like one, like all these, like a lot of popular horror movies are really just like a statement about like mental health, like
Yeah, like
depression
the
or
Babadook.
anxiety. They're all just monsters in your head, and they manifest, and it feels like a horror movie. And that's like a reverse way to analyze those things. It's kind of interesting like that, because when you said lighthouse, I'm like, oh, they're trying to go for a deeper meaning here instead of
Oh,
just
they
this.
are.
Yeah.
It's there's a really deep meaning like at the end, and let's just say it's a very divisive. I don't know if I want to spoil it. It's like 4 years old,
Hmm.
so I don't know if I should talk about it.
Nah, some people might want to watch it. Some people might
Yeah,
want
if
to
you
watch
guys
it.
want to watch it, it's okay. I give it like a 6 out of 10.
Wait, so if everything was duplicated, why did the husband come back lobotomized?
See, now you're asking for spoilers.
Oh, okay, fair. Hey, if you guys want that answered, definitely check
Yeah.
out the show.
There's a whole thing with that.
Hashtag not
And
sponsored, but also,
if we get sponsored by a movie, yeah, no, I would love that.
yeah, we could do advertisement for movies. Why not?
Yeah.
That'd be dope.
If you're a movie person out there and you're like, man, I really would love to be sponsored on the 50/50. Me and Par would watch your movie like 4 or 5 times. We'd make a video on it. Yeah, anything. We could even cameo in it, right? Like, look at me and look at Par. We could be Harold and Kumar.
I
We could be racist as hell, right, Par?
Yeah, yeah. You know, I can't refute. There's a certain dollar sign to everything for sure.
Yeah. Like, if you want me to make fun of my fellow countrymen, hey, $10, that's all it takes, bro. Come on.
Yeah, as long
Show
as
up,
there's
show
a
up.
dollar sign, that's all that really
Yeah.
matters, and cents are underneath the dollar sign as long as you put a decimal point. So,
And I'm Asian, so I can make fun of Asian people. And let me tell you, it is what it is. I got the
oh
pass.
my goodness,
I got the A card, and not just in grades.
the if you're sponsored by, maybe that is the route. I feel like a lot of people would want us to like do movie reviews. You know what I mean? Like we watch
I
a
would love
movie
that.
and we
Dude,
just have a conversation about it.
with how much YouTube has effed me up when it comes to doing One Piece, I would do anything. You could tell me I could spread my ass cheeks on YouTube and I'd get paid for it. I'd be A-okay.
Wait, so should sorry, not episodes. Should some top discussions of ours be centralized a recent movie that comes out and we just have a discussion?
Yeah, I know some podcasts that do that where they just like talk about a movie like, hey, like we just watched this and this is our opinion, and then we just like give a pretty like out there spoiler warning, like, hey guys, we're gonna spoil this movie. Click away.
But we might be solid enough to not give spoilers, right?
I mean, yeah, but there's some like if the ending is divisive, like let's say
True.
Annihilation just came out and we watched it, I'd be like, Par, what do you think about this ending? So
Yeah, maybe. I mean, also your community likes spoilers, and I'm not like. Sometimes spoilers gets me to watch movies, and honestly, I feel like the way we end up talking about a movie, sometimes I feel like we might make a movie sound better than it actually is, and that's always my biggest worry. But like, it's just definitely there's so many things we could talk about for sure, for sure. The animals thing. Oh, that reminds me. That's the reason why I sent the other half of TikToks to you. There was the feel good one, the cat one, and then there was the various diving ones. I'm pretty sure. Oh, the horror one, that one was there too. That was a feel good one too, just a different spectrum. And then
yeah,
the main ones,
different spectrum of feel good. Yeah, here's a horror video.
the other one was animal ones. So did you see the gorilla one? You might not have because you were offline earlier.
I was in a depressive slump. I did not see it. I'm sorry.
Well, you didn't. I wasn't putting you out there for that, but
Thanks for reminding me, Par. I was almost over it. Jesus.
Okay, so this dude, it was in a thing like a zoo, right? And
Yeah.
so this guy is doing push-ups, and then the gorilla starts mimicking him just instantly, and he's just doing like this jacked gorilla, right? And then the next TikTok I sent you was like of a silverback gorilla, and someone threw it like a watermelon or like a melon, and it looked like a pebble in his hands, and he just crushed it and ate it and threw it. And the reason why I sent that was because like the Planet of the Apes, you asked me a question like if, and like I wanted to ask you, like, after seeing that, if that was sentient, 2 million of those, I think we lose. Like that thing could take out
guns, though. Guns.
Yeah, but they would have guns too.
We would not.
We
let
can't.
them.
Sometimes you can shoot one of those and they still don't go down. You have to put whole like magazines into them, and so like, and then you give them brain power. They create armor. I think they could tank a tank. Like I think like you give 3 gorillas, they could flip over tanks. Right? Like I feel like that's a possibility.
3 gorillas flipping over a tank.
Super smart gorillas too. Like they're also able to use their brain power. Because a lot of the things gorillas do, they're not. It's all like casual until like they're fighting, right? But like you can't incentivize fighting a tank unless you give them brain power. So it's like, yeah, the brain power helps. It's a buff at the end of the day.
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't think 3 gorillas could flip a tank.
silver
I'm gonna make that statement right
a
now.
silverback gorilla lift strength. Silverback gorilla lift strength. Let's see. Okay, so they could
Maybe
lift
a ton.
two 2,000 pounds.
So
Is
2 tons. Damn.
yeah, the 1 ton.
I lowballed them. I lowballed
Okay,
them.
so how heavy is a tank? Okay, maybe a tank is a lot heavier.
Yeah, I think a tank is heavier than like 10 pounds,
Okay,
right?
55 tons.
Woo! Yeah, no,
Okay.
yeah.
Hold on.
Hey,
How many gorillas would you need then? You wouldn't need that many gorillas.
because it would like multiply because you'll get like inertia or something, right? Or not inertia. You'll get like gravity on your side because you start lifting it and tilting it.
Yeah, and these are super smart gorillas, so they're also
So I'd
using
say
tools.
you need. I would say you need 10 gorillas.
10 gorillas. That's solid, bro. If you can take down a tank with 10 gorillas, that's like land warfare is cleared, right? And then if you're dealing with planes, then like I'm almost thinking like the Beast Titan from just start chucking shit up there. But like, recently I realized how fragile ships are. If I really wanted to defend my place, I would just shoot lasers into the sky. Like not even like the lasers that like damage you, you know what I mean, lasers that just blind you, right? Because we this dude on a commercial airline thought he saw Saturn in the sky, or not
I
thought
remember
he
that.
saw another plane, but it was just Saturn, and so he dipped the entire plane down. It's like if that could happen from like a planet, like if I pointed a laser at all the planes, like a little annoying 5-year-old, right, like that's gonna do some damage, right? I feel like that's
It
solid.
100% would.
Yeah. Wait, I would be a menace. The way I would defend my country is so cracked. Oh my god, wait.
That would be a
Everyone's
good way for
so
like
dumb.
citizens to fight back, right? Just like, oh,
Yeah.
like I don't have a gun, I don't want to fight in the war, but let me tell you, I'm gonna take down these aircraft with me. I'm the AA.
Yo, wait a second. We're arming ourselves with the wrong things. It's
I am the
like
menace.
the real threat isn't like the people that land on. It would be the plane. Oh god, I'm going to a dangerous place. But like if planes are coming at you, you can't do much, right? But if you have a laser pointer, huh?
Yeah, just use the laser pointer. It's dandy.
My military would be so much fun. It'd be so effective too, right? Like I think it'd be important.
People would have so much fun murdering people. It would be ridiculous.
Yo, man, maybe the gorillas wouldn't win. I'm too creative. The gorillas can't beat me.
The only reason, the only W that animals have had in the past is the Emu War of Australia.
No, no, not technically. Australia has taken many L's on the behalf of humanity, uh, on that same island. And the thing is, it's like that is why I'm very apologies if you're from Australia. I'm very adamant about calling Australians just a whole new subsection or a supersection of people.
Whoa! Wait. You're calling them subhuman? Oh, Par, that's okay. Now you're getting crazy.
No, so I said it much
Subhuman.
nicer in my other thing, but I what take it how you will. I think, and I think all Australians will understand this because
All Australians will agree that
this,
they're subhuman.
no.
Yeah,
To
that's crazy.
this statement was that I had a few people on my stream, right, come in, and the first one I was telling them all the Australian things. Like, yeah, that's true, and they're telling me more stuff. And something that I asked them, or they told me, was that they feel like that in Australia, the way they live is like you can look at an animal and know if you can beat it up in a fight. And like that's just a common thing. And the problem was I was like, that's not like you're just generalizing, right? I was being the social justice warrior, right? And then other Australian people join the call and support it. It's like, no, yeah, like a 5'5" kangaroo, easy. It gets a little bit bigger than that, it's a little bit worrisome. And so then they were talking about alligators and crocodiles. It's like, yeah, if you see a crocodile, you gotta know. And then they were like, spiders, it's the smaller the spider, the more dangerous. The big ones are friendly. And I'm like, that's the rest of the world does not think like that. Like it's the same thing
I
of
feel like we do.
no, no,
No,
no, no,
no,
no, no.
no.
Like it's not the same thing as Australia because they have things like swooping season. They have things like a raining spider season where it rains spiders. They have a season, the swooping season is these little birds that have so much motherly instinct that they the magpies, I think they're called. They
Yeah,
100
magpies.
yards out they get territorial, and so they swoop on you. And so apparently people just get different haircuts because if they get stuck in your hair it's a problem, right? So it's like we don't look at animals that way. I can show you a plethora of TikToks of Americans who just walk up to bears, and that's actually what I sent you. This person just threw a loaf of bread at a bear. I'm like, hold on, there's literally a chicken wire, like literally in the TikTok, this chicken wire, like a 10-foot grizzly bear and them. And they just threw a piece of bread at them and like, hi. And the way the bear luckily was just like, hey, that's why I sent it to you, because the bear literally waved back. And I'm like, if that bear was any different, he'd run over that chicken fence and just eat you, right? But over there, no, Australians wouldn't do that. And the reason why I'm saying it's like a different set of people, I see that as the same thing as those people who can like breathe underwater. Like it's a different like they evolved to live differently. I don't think you can take a normal American and drop them on Australia, no preparation, and just like be completely fine. Like I'm pretty certain on that. There's a
I can't
few
wait till
places.
people take up that challenge.
Yeah,
They're
go,
like,
move. We need people to go to
Par,
Australia.
Par's challenging Americans.
Go, do it. I need it. Post it up. I will watch it because I need more proof to my wife as reasons why we'll never go to Australia. I don't care how many family members move there, live there, or have great lives there. I don't, it's Australia. I'm sorry. Like I
It's
don't know.
Australia. I'm not going.
There's too many
I love
crazy
that.
things. I was told to go in the winter time. And then when some, because then there's less insects and that's like a major issue. But then I asked someone else that and they were like, there's other things. So I'm like, what other things? And it's like, maybe I shouldn't tell you. I'm like, yeah, but like I'm still not going. Like it's just
You're not gonna convince me.
and the worst part is I don't know how this keeps on happening, but people invite me randomly. I don't bring up Australia, but they're like they're like, you should come to Australia sometimes. You'll love it here. I'm like, no, stop talking to me.
I love the way you make it sound like it's an everyday occurrence. Like, dude, like it's like the 10th person today. They just talked about taking me to
It no,
Australia.
it really when my wife initially was like, traveling, we brought up travel before, a list of the places she wants to go to. Australia's absolutely not ever since day one. I felt like as it became more realistic for us to actually go to Australia, she'd bring it up again. And then like the weeks, the days, it was just like random occurrences like, oh, like we just had a wedding in Australia. I'm like, who has a destination wedding in Australia? And I'm like, like stop. That's so random. Nobody's
We're
been
not
having,
going there.
yeah, no one's having a destination wedding. That's just a myth. Like that just doesn't make sense. It was a beautiful place, but I just don't trust it. There's too many ways to die over there. And you know what's crazy is that guy who told me about Australia. Shout outs to Ace, um, from Discord. He told me that right now, or like at the end of last year, there was warnings on sharks because sharks were getting smarter and they were starting to attack people and going under and through their security of beaches and stuff like that. And so they like put out traps and that aggravated the sharks apparently. Like the sharks retaliated. Oh, that's another story. Oh my god, there's so many stories. Oh
It's
my.
all like deathly like Australia news.
No, that one just jump started the. I think I sent you a few TikToks about killer whales.
Let me see this. Let me see this.
I think I hope I sent you. I love how we just had that like awkward silence because it was like a realization. Like I was like killer whales. Par was
Like Par said killer whales.
killer whales. So one of them was a cool story. It was a cool story because it was two gray whales in the ocean and they had like drone footage of this, right? Two gray whales are swimming through the ocean, right? And then two killer whales come up and start pestering them, right? And then the two gray whales start like flapping and jumping and whatever, dodging these two killer whales. And then you think like, okay, the gray whales are huge. They're about triple the size of these the killer whales that show up, right? They jump, they dive. They're like, I don't see them dying. In comes 28 more killer whales, and in total there's 30 killer whales just attacking these two gray whales. And the craziest part was the attack lasted 6 hours, and the
What the
gray whales lived and escaped.
That's like something out of an anime, like, oh yes, we fought for 38 days, 28
It
nights.
was crazy. I was like, no way, because killer whale stocks are so down because of that. They couldn't gang up on two gray whales. Don't have teeth. You know, they're not the biggest, they're not the fastest, they're just gray. Like, they're just in between. And they couldn't gang up and win. That's so sad.
They're slippery bastards, Bar.
Yeah, that's true. But
That's
like,
gotta be it.
6 hours. They had 6 hours on these, and we have it recorded in the TikTok. They didn't show all of it, obviously, because we're not watching 6 hours of TikToks. But
6 hour TikToks of a whale fighting.
let me tell you, if they time lapsed it, I would watch it. I would watch it. Like,
You'd be glued to your phone just watching these whales
yeah,
fight.
I need to know
I
how
love
they
the thought of
escaped.
that.
I feel like they were severely injured because they didn't show the ending of the fight. But like, they painted a very brutal picture, and these killer whales, like, they were just, it was just like 1 second there were gray whales, the next second there was just like water, and then killer whales. It was just gone. Everything was just killer whales at that point in the screen. I was like, that's so scary. It's so scary.
I like to imagine for the gray whales, they're just like, oh, this is an everyday occurrence. No big deal. Let's
Yeah,
just juke them for like the next 6 hours.
they know what's up, and so like people were like saying like, yo, like these animals are just like so much smarter than we give them credit for. And I 100% believe it. There's so many stories about these animals that are just like, yo, like, oh, I might have sent you another one about how this elephant in India is taking tolls. So like, there's yeah, there's a bunch of cars that
Say that again.
the elephant is taking tolls from passerbyers. He's there's a toll fee, and
And the elephant is the one just gathering it up.
yes, and so the toll is essentially every time this elephant sees a truck that carries like a certain, I think it was like sugarcane or something, like so that's like the field that you have to cross the thing. It's like a sugarcane field, so anytime a truck
Yeah.
leaves, it stands in the middle of the road, and the sugarcanes are lined up in the back, and he uses his thing to take one out, and then it just moves out of the way. And they can't do anything about it because the road is so narrow, so they just let that shit happen. And I'm like, that's good. Like, why would you stop that? That's what needs to happen. Like,
I
and
don't
it's
know.
happening.
I feel like eventually I just get annoyed and be like, all right, guys, it's time to put down this elephant.
Or you could
It's
just
time
give
to
it,
put him down for good.
you could just give it the sugarcane, Sai.
Yeah, but I worked hard for that sugar cane though.
Yeah, and it's in whose land was it, Sai? Don't tell me you were the colonizers were right. Don't tell me that.
If I had to pick between my fellow countrymen versus an elephant,
Sai,
I'm
we
not
were
gonna lie,
both,
dude.
our heritage comes
I
from
would be
colonized
looking up.
countries.
I would be looking up prices for elephant tusk.
Oh no.
If it's a green day in the marketplace, hey,
Sai
I don't know
whips
what to
up the
tell him.
phone. It's just like he goes straight to
Yeah.
eBay. Elephant dust.
Oh, hey, I'm sorry I have to do this to you, but
Oh
let me tell you, the
no.
elephant stocks are up. It's time to sell you in the black market, boy.
Oh my goodness. There's so many animals. There was another killer whale one. I don't remember it exactly, but there's too many. Oh, dolphins ones. I've been seeing a lot of ones about like people
Oh,
handling
not dolphins,
sharks.
dude.
Yeah, dolphins and killer whales are in the same boat though.
Yo- Really? They both do it?
Yeah, they're both the same. They're both the same. Killer whales are just they're they're aggressive. Like they're like on that tier. But
So,
killer whales
dang.
are like the gangsters who don't usually but can. You know what I mean? Versus the dolphins are the gangsters that are always doing it and don't
Wow.
have to. That's kind of how I'm putting it in my
I've
head.
lost my respect for dolphins or for killer whales.
Yeah, killer whales are wild
Yeah,
monsters.
it's a nasty place out there in the jungle.
Yeah, yeah,
If
they're
you guys don't know
bullies.
what me and Pa are talking about, let me just tell you real quick. let's say killer whales and dolphins put things where they don't belong.
They do. I mean, oh man, I'm trying to remember now because like I feel like the killer whales, like killer like whales. I think killer whales are more related to dolphins. I feel like I remember that. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the a thing. But where is it? Or they are orcas. Are orcas a different thing? Orcas might be what dolphin are related to. I'm not sure. It's fumbled in my head right now, but
It's something like that.
something like that, yeah. And so like I think the killer whale aspect of things, it's like they're like dolphins are had that good rep too of like, oh, they help people or whatever. Like yeah, killer whales have that same thing too, but then like just randomly they're just like ganging up, they're just gangsters, like
It's time
literally.
to go sicko mode.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's literally what happens. You know what? The comment section didn't say it, but if I wanted to comment it, but I didn't want to get like weird backlash for like this random joke. But I was like, damn. So you're telling me the cops, the killer whales of the U.S. cops or something like that, because they were just ganging up on these like innocent gray whales, and there's this like beat down, and they just like dispersed and just left it. But 6 hours is they got their fill, I guess, and it's like,
They left happy.
yeah. And so I was,
That's one way to put it.
it was like that's a joke that if you say that on TikTok, then you get a lot of like rant. I just don't care for that, so I didn't comment it. But if people follow me on TikTok, then they'll see my comments in a bunch of random places, and that's
They'll
like,
know Para's unhinged.
yeah, that's exactly it. Some people are like, damn.
Like, damn, this guy's a psychopath.
I love leaving comments and rant because I like I think today I also had a few. Every day I wake up to a few comments like, "Whoa, you're on this side of a TikTok, like that's so cool." And then like they'll say my name and they'll bring up One Piece too on like this TikTok about uh like
Global warming.
yeah, no, I was literally gonna say that, or the whale thing. Like I sent you. There was
Which
another
one?
It was the sawfish.
Oh, the sawfish.
That
Yeah.
one is crazy. I don't know if we talked about it, but like this guy goes fishing for the first time in his entire life and he catches a sawfish, which are like in extinct dinosaurs. And it's not just like it's not like a sawfish. No, 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 it's a sawfish. Like
It
this,
is like maybe 15 feet long.
it's huge. And then like you think like they're lying. You know, like how some people are like, oh, I got footage of Bigfoot, and it's like this blurry ass like pixel in the back. No, 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 no. This was 4K in the dark, and you're like, oh, I'm not gonna see it. No, this sawfish comes up to the goddamn camera, saw first, comes out, sprawls out. You see the whole thing, and you're just like, no way, this guy caught a
What do you do if you
Pokemon.
catch a sawfish? Like they didn't really say what they did with it. I'm assuming they cut the line and they just went on with their
Yeah,
day. But if you caught a sawfish and it looked like they were on a beach, right? They
yeah.
weren't like in the middle of the ocean, they were on a beach. And you had that sawfish on your line, what would you do? Would you let it go too?
It's illegal to do if you're caught. It's illegal, right?
Really?
Yeah, yeah, because they're endangered. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they're on the
Bro,
endangered list.
there's no way people are keeping like there's not like a marine police that keep track of the sawfish population. They're like, Joseph Sawfish went missing in this district. We got to look for its killer.
No, so
Like,
like
no
you
way.
would get caught if they saw a sawfish site. A sawfish is very distinct. Like you can't just like if you had a picture in the back, they could investigate you. I'm pretty sure, right? Like if you had it hanging up like some moose, right? They'd be like,
Yeah.
huh. I wonder where this man got a sawfish. And you're like, maybe sure you could pass off as fake, but then like if like a local person was like, oh no, I saw him carrying that sawfish straight from the thing. But you're right, like how could they capture it, but then they can't get the DNA. But that's a crazy thing also. Apparently there's no sightings of sawfishes. Really, like that guy was like one of the only people to interact with sawfish. All right, well, let me double check.
And all I gotta say is that if TikTok was banned, we wouldn't get that glorious reveal to the sawfish.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, let's throw it back to that.
Yeah. Thank you, TikTok.
Thank you, TikTok. No, you're
Thank you,
100%
Xi
right.
Jinping.
100%. There's no other person to thank. Not a Singaporean man for sure. Like,
Singapore, what is that? Are those
yeah,
people?
yeah. Who? I mean, Congress doesn't believe so.
Singapore's a country? What
Say
is that?
what now? Oh man. Oh, there was
Are you crazy?
some world news that I was gonna bring up too. Oh man, there's something crazy that happened recently. I mean, the dollar losing value. I don't know if we talked about that in the last
Oh,
podcast.
wait. When you said dollar, I thought you were gonna talk about the Dalai Lama.
Oh my god, that is news. I don't know if we want to talk about that news, but
No,
yo,
that's hilarious.
that
We should talk
is
about it.
how okay, so I want to talk about this backwards. Like it's kind of like the I think
Do
the
you endorse kissing kids?
n- Tom Brady, not my guy. Not my guy. You know what I mean? Like
That's a good way to put it. I love Tom Brady when he's playing with the pig skin, but when he's touching kids' skin, it's a little bit different.
No. Especially not,
But
at
it's
least
his kid, so it's his kid, so it's a little bit better. It's like I feel like if Tom Brady was replaced with any other person in the world, I feel like he'd probably get like child protective services called on him, like, oh, like this
yeah.
guy's like tonguing his boy. But because it's Tom Brady and he's like a national American treasure, it's kind of like it's one of those like necessary evils, right?
Oh
Like,
no.
oh, like this kid's getting kissed on the lips, some tongue action
That's what I
from
was
his
gonna throw.
dad.
At least with the pigskin, he's using his hands. Like that's
Yeah, and I think wait I think I got some facts wrong. I don't want to slander Tom Brady, but he doesn't use his tongue. I think that was a little bit of an exaggeration,
yeah,
but
that's where the world
yeah,
has taken him. But
yeah,
you
that's just
can't
what I've heard online. People twist the
listen.
story.
Listen, but at the same time, there's no cameras in like to tell us otherwise. Like that's the worrying part, right? Because there is that world of mystery that shouldn't even exist, right? Like if I were to kiss my kid, especially at the ages that he's doing it, it certainly is on the lips. And even as a baby, it's not good for you to kiss them on the lips because you're giving them horrible bacteria that could actually like kill them or ruin their teeth for the rest of their life. But that aside, right? The fact is, like the Tom Brady example isn't even close to like what happened here. And I think the worst part is like he apologized. You know what I mean? Like I think that almost made it worse. Like he was just like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and I'm like, "No, he thinks this is forgivable." Like that's worse. Like
If oh wait wait, we're working at it backwards, but for the people who don't know the situation,
hit him with it. I can't.
yeah. So how do you know where to begin? I'm not like a big
That's
religious
why I
guy, so I
started
don't
at
even
the end.
I don't even know like the context of like what's going on, but it looks like a religious gathering. You know, if you celebrate the Dalai Lama, it's a probably not the best day for you. But the Dalai Lama is like doing his little sermon, and then near the end, he goes into this segment where if you go to church, then you know like sometimes the pastor calls up like a bunch of kids and people, and they all get kissed on the forehead, and that looks like that's what took place here.
Mhm.
But the Dalai Lama decided to go a step further. He wasn't just like, "Hey, I'll kiss you on the forehead and then I'll send you by." Right? There's a little kid
No.
that pops up,
Not you
and
saying it took it a step. Why did you have to narrate it like that?
he did. He took it a step forward.
You
He went a little
sounded
bit
like
farther
such
than he should.
a disconnected news anchor. Like you wouldn't believe what happened next. Like just some kind of.
You wouldn't. I mean, it, I didn't have the Dalai Lama kissing a kid on the lips on my bingo card for this year. But what happened was the Dalai Lama said, "Hey, oh, what a sweet young boy. How about this? Come here." And he just like grabs his head and he like tilts his chin up like a lover in a Tarzan movie and
Oh
kisses the kid
no!
on the lips. And you're like, okay,
Sorry, this might be
you're
too graphic for
yeah,
monetization.
it's just like, okay, you know what? He's giving him the Tom Brady treatment, but at least Tom Brady's doing it to his son. Whatever. This is a stranger's kid. Like, if I was the father of this kid and I saw the Dalai Lama tilting my kid's head back and giving him a big old smooch,
It's
I'd be
on
like,
site.
yo, hey, I'm not coming back to
War
church.
crimes, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if
And
it's a war crime to attack the Dalai Lama like it is the Pope, but I instantly war crimes are happening.
bro, and the craziest part is that after that, you're like, okay, it can't get much worse, right? Tom Brady, he stopped there. He posted a weird post of him, his son sitting on his lap at a pool, whatever. But the Dalai Lama goes a step further. He says, "Oh, now stick out your tongue." And then the kid was like visibly confused for like a solid like
and,
30 seconds.
and to add, this is a kid. Like, it's not like
Yeah,
a teenager.
8 years old at most.
Yeah, at most. I looked at it as like 5. I looked at 5 or 6 to me.
It was a youngin,
Yes.
a young whippersnapper.
Yeah. And it was a brown boy too, so I was like, huh, interesting.
You felt it vicariously. Like I think when I saw that kid get kissed, I was like, yo, Par, like
Oh
you might have to tell
no.
your wife about this one.
Oh no.
But what happened is
Oh
after the Dalai
no.
Lama did that, he's like, hey, stick out your tongue. The kid sticked out his tongue eventually, and the Dalai Lama wanted to like suck his tongue.
I
Oh
think
wait,
it was
no, it was
it's
backwards.
reverse. Yeah.
Yeah, it was reversed. The Dalai Lama stuck his tongue out, and he wanted the kid to like kiss his tongue to suck on it a little bit.
Yeah. And so
And yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much where it stops. That's the whole story. But just
that is, and the thing
weird.
is, like,
Weird.
the reason why the story stops there, or should stop there, is because it's a story that shouldn't exist. Like, it's
Yeah,
truthfully something that should not breathe
deleted
air.
history.
And the thing is, he made it worse. Let's go back to where I wanted to start. He apologized for this. He was just like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to. I'm like, what? But huh? Like,
Well,
that's,
what did you not mean though?
yeah, like, when I heard that, when I almost like got whiplash, I was like, what do you mean? Like this is you have to deny it. Like, I wasn't trying to be his PR, but like he had to say that was a deep fake. He had to say all the bells and whistles, the Dalai Lama
Yeah,
powers, whatever they are, needed to be enforced
it
here.
was
But
it was Christ.
apologizing was not in the cards afterwards, because then it's like, wait, hold on. No. This is worse. This is worse. What are you apologizing for? You're just apologizing because you got caught. Like that. I don't want to know what else is happening. Like, that is so scary. And that he felt okay with just straight up next day. Yo, that? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it was a mistake, guys.
Yeah.
Imagine if he was like, well, I knew the father, and he was totally cool.
Yeah, like, that would honestly be a step in a better direction, honestly, because then he's like weirdly gets consent, I guess, but like not really, obviously, but like at least he asked. But in this one, he's just like, this is something I can be forgive, like, God will forgive me, you will forgive me, I am the Dalai Lama. Like, I don't know what he's going through his head. Like, I don't know.
It's like one of those anime power trips. He's like, no, I can kiss kids. They can suck my lip.
No. Why
Like
did
how
you
Light
say
thinks
it
he's
like
above
that?
everybody else in Death Note.
But in the weirdest way possible. Oh no, don't breathe this into air side. That's so weird.
Okay. Here's a better scenario.
I don't
What
want
would
a
you
better
do?
scenario. I don't want
What would you
scenarios.
do if it was your kid that the Dalai Lama did this to? What would you do?
That was actually another thing that I was gonna ask. Oh, I forget what it was. Oh, I told you, war crimes instantly. The thing is, I think the dad was next to the kid. Like, I think the parent was right behind the kid when it happened. He was just like looking that way or something, because like it was a photo thing, right?
Yeah. I like to imagine the dad was just as shocked though. Like he probably like just didn't know what to do. He's like, "What?"
I think he was. I think he was actually. I think there was an interview of him, and he was just like dumbfounded a little bit. Like, so I don't remember the full context because this was later. Oh
My
man,
kid got sexually assaulted in front of me while I was at church. Like, yeah, I don't think anybody goes to church and they're like, "Hey, like, I'm probably gonna
in
have
broad
my son get
daylight.
touched a little
Oh
bit."
my god, it was crazy.
Broad daylight. I like that you make that distinction.
I mean, like, the church is doing it not in broad daylight. That's how it's been going under the radar, right? But like, the people felt it was safe to do that, but you can't feel safe with anything apparently anymore, even in broad daylight, which is, woo, is wild. Is wild.
Yeah, if he was willing to do this much, like you said, in broad daylight, like what is he gonna do in like behind closed doors?
Yeah, it's
Dalai Lama's unhinged.
very unhinged. Man, okay. There was a few stories. Okay, this one's related to a bear attack too. Um
You know all the random animal stuff today, huh?
I just remember everything. So like when I scroll through TikTok, like the thing is my wife okay, this is I'm exposing myself a little bit here. But when I watch TikToks, I don't watch them all the way through. Unless like they're like super factual. So a lot of times if they're like dramatic story things, I'll watch like the first 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and I'll
Yeah.
surmise like what the story's about and figure out what the ending is. And then like if I'm so then sometimes like I'll send it to my wife even though I didn't watch it all. I'm like, oh, she'll like this. Like it'll be something like that. And so then I'll bring it up to her and I'll be like, oh, isn't it so crazy? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, oh, so I was right about the ending thing. And she's like, you don't watch the I'm like, no, I just figured like it'd be this story and it'd be good. And so like I do that a lot. And then so sometimes I'll do that with like the TikToks I'm watching where I'll be like, oh, I wonder what this is gonna be about. And so I think about it and then I watch the
Your wife
rest
is
of
like
it.
a social experiment.
Yeah, yeah, I'll do that sometime. But and so I just like you know, when it comes to TikTok, I just like scroll, and I remember a lot of the stories. I just can't pick them up exactly right now. But one of the
Yeah.
stories, oh, man, it's adjacent to the actual thing that I want to talk about, but it's close enough. It's close enough. You four friends, right? You are in the forest, and your friend is attacked by a giant grizzly bear. What do you do as a friend?
Okay, this is the toxic masculinity within me.
Uh-huh.
I would try to fight the grizzly bear.
You would fight the grizzly bear.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, it's a very toxic trait. I will admit, it's because I'm a guy. If I see a grizzly bear, if it's attacking a friend, if I have any weapon, I'd be like, yo, it's time to throw hands with this grizzly bear.
Okay, so there's three directions I
That's
want to
me.
go with this. One, whether if you said no or yes, then I was gonna elevate it. What if it was your kid? If your kid was being attacked by a bear
Oh,
and
100% I'd fight the bear.
you'd fight the bear.
Even if, okay, see, if it's my wife or a kid, that changes it. If it's a friend, depending on how crazy the friend is, I'll go ape wild.
Yeah,
But if we're talking about like my wife or like my son or daughter or something,
yeah,
even if I knew I would lose,
yeah,
just to like have them get out of it, I'd probably fight.
yeah. No, that's the same thing. That's what I was just
You'd
gauging.
regret that for the rest of your life if you
Yeah,
just watch your son, daughter, wife get mauled
yeah,
and you didn't do
100%.
anything.
And so these
Ain't no
kids,
way.
four of them, I think two of them escaped. One of them ran back, fought the bear, and won. And so his friend escaped.
Hey,
His
my
friend was like
man.
mauled, like his leg got torn off or something like that. And so he was like barely like his two friends took him to safety. And that solo friend fought off the bear and he had like stitches on his head or whatever or like things, but he successfully, and he didn't have any weapons from what the story said. He just ran in for his homie and beat this bear that tore off his friend's like limb. And he won. And I'm like, yo, that's crazy. And I wanted to know like how, you know, it was in line of the cave diving thing because like
Yeah.
how far would you risk your life? And I think like, yeah, like there's a certain weird part. It's like I don't think I could win, but like I think there's a lot you could maybe do if the bear was distracted to maybe like scare off the bear, you know? And
Oh,
that
100%.
story, I was like, hold on, that's kind of crazy that this guy did it, right? Like because he was only able to really do it because his friend distracted him at the start, and then he's able to get like some advantage. But I'm like, yo, we're kind of dumb, right? Like we'd fight a bear, but like I think
It's
like you
human
said,
nature, man.
for family, it's like you go stupid sometimes, right? Like it's like
Yeah.
that doesn't matter. It's not like a logical choice. You kind of just that's like a such a logical choice that it transcends logic and is just emotional. But like you're right, in the long term, you would regret it for the rest of your life. Like that's just one of those things. So that is a logical choice if you thought about it that far. Um,
Like imagine the PTSD you would get if you didn't do anything.
yeah, yeah,
It'd
absolutely.
be way
It's
worse.
it's so wild. But like and then at the same time I've been seeing a lot of TikToks with people like because
People
like
in scenarios where they have to fight like rabid animals.
no, yeah, no, that is I don't know. You know what? Now that you said it like
Oh,
that, I am on that side of TikTok. I was on like this snake this famous YouTuber guy who like has a bunch of snakes. This giant boa constrictor lashed out at him the moment he looked away, and it like
yeah.
like basically bit his hat. Like that's how close it was to his face, and he last second dodged at it, which was like crazy. But then there was another TikTok where these people, I like this group, like they're like you're supposed to call them if you have a loose snake or whatever, and so they came in and accidentally killed the
Snake
snake,
hunters.
and the snake was pregnant, and people were saying like the eggs go for millions of dollars. It's like who has millions of dollars
Ooh.
for these snake eggs. Like how that is like we have to figure out who's buying those because that's criminal, right? Like no normal person is buying snake eggs for millions of dollars, right? You don't think so?
If I was rich, I might.
But like the fact that like I would get it if it was like a luxurious thing, like you can eat snake, like snakes, frogs, whatever. People will eat that, right? But at a restaurant, even there, it's not like so a restaurant's buying it for $1 million and selling an egg. Like there's no restaurant in the world doing that. So that has to be like some shady, you know what I mean? Like that's some
Hey,
unless it's for
don't
breeding.
underestimate Salt Bay.
Wait, why Salt Bay? He just does beef. Come on, don't disrespect Salt Bay. I'm just kidding. He's
Salt
disrespect.
Bay's such an asshole. What are you
I
talking?
know, I know, no, no.
Ain't no way you're defending Salt Bay.
No, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I take it back.
How dare you?
For the first time on the 50/50 podcast, I am backtracking my statements immediately.
Yeah,
Immediately.
if you guys don't live on the internet like
I'm not
me and
dying on
Par
that
do,
hill.
and you've only known Salt Bay from like, oh, it's that guy, he does like the whole elbow hairy salt thing.
He gets his hair and skin all over your beef.
Yeah, he gets all of his like molecules in your beef. If you only know him from that, then you probably are like, Sai, why does Sai have beef with the Salt Bay guy? It's because he's a dick. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. The guy's kind of an ass. So to give you the rundown, his popularity's been on a decline for a while, and it's, you know, it happens. You know, eventually me and Par will suffer the same fate. That is how the internet works.
Yeah.
All good things come to an end. But Salt Bay, you know, he made a really good career out of it. I think he had a good run, but he didn't take his fall gracefully, because ever since he started falling a little bit, he's gotten this inflated ego where he thinks that the entire world kind of revolves around him. And it led to a really weird situation where during the World Cup, after they won, Salt Bay snuck onto the field with the players who just won the World Cup, and he tried to like physically take the trophy from one of the players and take pictures of him with it.
No, not try. He succeeded. I'm pretty sure.
He succeeded, yeah.
Yeah,
and the guy was trying to hold back like the trophy, like he was holding like his daughter in one arm, and then this Salt Bay guy who nobody knows, right? He wasn't invited. Nobody really knows him. He just walked up and he just kept on yanking the trophy from the players.
Yeah. Which is like
it's wild.
Like that was scary for so many other reasons. I remember that story not even for Salt Bay. That's how insignificant this dude is, when he could have been a happy dose of serotonin. He could have stayed that way, but he messed it up because he's just a salty, sour person. And the thing is, it's like I remember the story because that's like a huge security threat. Imagine an angry fan who they could have just killed people.
There's a lot of angry fans during the soccer games too. Let me tell you,
yeah.
I know people that go wild when their team loses.
Well, okay, that's like an American thing. Like me and my wife were just talking about this.
That is not American. No.
Hold on. Philadelphia
soccer? Football? What are you talking about?
Football.
Dude, cities get rampaged.
Okay, hold on. Not as bad as football teams, even when their team wins.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Dude, football is international. Have you seen like the streets of Spain whenever they lose?
Okay, but like
they gotta have like curfew during those days.
Okay, but like they're also not like, I haven't seen one of Spain truthfully recently, which is why I'm going on a limb here. Their target is celebration first, not destruction for the sake of just like destruction. In the US, you flip a car, that's hype. You smash a window, that's hype. You throw flaming couches out of your second floor window, that is hype. That is the kind of behavior. That's not what I see out of the celebrations elsewhere, where yes, things are oversaturated of people running through the streets, but it's not people running through the buildings and vehicles maybe some damage happens. That happens when people are in multitude and they're excited, but not, I don't see the same energy of what I see in the Northeast. Even when a team wins, there's destruction, which is what they destroy their own town. It's this craziest thing. It's the craziest thing.
if you guys live in a different country other than the U.S., let me know how wild do the city patrons go when their team loses. I need to hear it. We got to sell this debate because I'm curious now too.
Yeah, and look, put it into perspective of looking up the U.S. like Philly. I forget which team it was recently, but like yeah, just destroyed. And it's like, like I this one was a loss. I'm pretty sure, but I think in a previous year they won, and I think there was more damage because they like it was just
Hey,
like they
hey,
lasted longer. I don't know. I don't know. The stamina was up. Like rage is apparently tiring. I don't know what the
they
reason
were
was.
drinking Logan Paul's prime.
Yeah, exactly. Prime sponsored it, which is just like a whole nother. Oh my god. I was thinking if we should talk about Logan Paul one day because he's the type of dude to like shout out any podcast if they're like negative
The
or positive.
50-50 podcast. I mean,
Yeah,
I like Logan Paul though.
he'd be like, these bozos are saying these things about me,
Yeah.
and then he'd like insult us like these no name dudes, like we have like 1,000 subs on this channel, but if I blew it up on TikTok, which is possible, you know, I have some TikToks that blew up that are not One Piece related, and so I could do that and it gets Logan Paul's eye, and then we get more viewers. That's viral marketing. I could do
That
that
is the
easily.
strat.
Yeah,
I
just
mean,
give me.
like as far as Logan Paul goes, like I don't watch his content, but I respect the business model, you know?
Have you heard of his the reason why people think he should ultimately be canceled? Because this is like the other ones are like a societal view, which you know he should get canceled, whatever. Like I think that the
Yeah.
problem with it, we talked about it before, is that canceling is dumb. People just should have the self-control to not support something like that, but like you can't really control a bunch of children. Like that's just the way the world works. So it's like if you don't ban them, that's not how, you know, it's a whole cycle. But the thing that he's catching flack for right now is he crypto NFT scammed, like he's like a legal proceeding of like
Oh,
1.5
yeah,
million
that's
dollars something that he promised to give back and he hasn't. And so
yeah,
like
you're
that's
talking
the,
about Crypto Zoo.
yeah, I think it was around that. Oh, have you seen, I saw like someone covering or like reacting to it, um how goofy his
I
like,
think it was CoffeeZilla who made a video.
yeah.
Yeah.
And basically, like to summarize it, Logan Paul's two like founding people that he started this with, who like inspired him, are both like serial criminals. Like they
Yeah.
like they're,
That's the funniest part.
you Google their name and it's just like scams, like absolutely. And the thing is, they got off scot-free. They got off with millions because they pulled the rug out of Logan Paul. And
And they got no flack for it because Logan Paul, people are trusting him, whatever. Nobody's trusting criminals. Like,
yeah,
so they're not really getting
besides
flack
Logan
for it.
Paul, yeah.
Yeah, except for Logan Paul. With Logan Paul, they have like a full-on job offer, but
Which is like when you said like, you know, I don't know much about him, but his business practice, I was like, oh, I don't know if you would be
no.
like in
Okay. When I meant
criminal
I respect
side.
Logan Paul's business, I meant like the way he markets himself and how successful he's been, no matter
That's
what.
true. That's true. The
Because like
prime,
even with like all this crypto zoo scam, whatever, like he's doing well. Like you can't deny that he's not like killing it no matter what.
yeah, it's weird though because like with the amount of money he should be making, 1.5 million dollars to give back to his people to just clear this entire
That's
thing,
nothing.
it's nothing to him, and it makes no sense that he hasn't settled it when it's like literally pocket change for what he should be making if he if he's not like underwater debt somehow, which like easily could be the case
I
given.
don't know. I feel like he doesn't want to like admit guilt. That's kind of what I think. Like if he pays everybody back for that,
But he already
I feel like in a way
promised.
he's did he?
Yeah, he made an entire. That's what CoffeeZilla came after him for, because when
Oh,
CoffeeZilla interviewed him, he said he couldn't. He just didn't need to answer. But no, like they talked, and then he came out and made a video apologizing and promising 1.5 million. So that's what CoffeeZilla had been after the fact, meaning like, "Yo, have you done that?" And he's just been ghosted. And like they talk, but anytime he brings that up, no answer. And so it's like the fact that he did that, it's like, what he didn't need to, because like
yeah.
that's the whole thing about crypto. It's like that's 99% of what crypto is right now is people scamming you, because there's only like a few good vendors, a few, and even though like JP Morgan's backing, like they don't have good intentions either, but the
Everybody's trying to make money at the end of the day.
yeah, and so when it came to all that, I was just like, damn, that's so wild to me, because Prime, I agree, the way he markets Prime is second to none besides Mr. Beast. Like Mr. Beast beats him just because he's Mr. Beast. But Logan Paul with the Prime, solid marketing, really good. He's so much free placement, and it's just like he's abusing his system, which is like wild that other people don't do it like that. But yeah, very very solid. But then it's like, yo, he's sponsoring Arsenal, right? Like, isn't Prime sponsoring an entire like major football team in Europe, and he can't offload 1.5 million dollars? I sit there and I'm just like, what kind of like devil's hole deal did he get himself into? You know what I mean? Like, how deep?
There's got to be more to it. There's got to be like something we don't see. And I'm not trying to like give Logan Paul the benefit of the doubt, but I don't think he's a dumb person.
I want to think it, but like it's also, I think it's a victim of youth, right? Because he's younger than us, and
Is he really?
yeah, he's younger than both of
Damn,
us, and
I didn't know that.
and he got a lot of money very young, and a stupid amount of money. And the thing is, he was introduced to that world from Disney, which, if you know anything about like that world of child actors, let me tell you, there's a whole nother actor, Cole Sprouse, who's just on a spree of being the most cringe adult I've ever seen in existence. I think he's closer to our age. Actually, no,
Wait,
he's older
what
than
did he
us.
do?
He went on like Call Me Daddy, like the famous, like very popular podcast,
Oh, he went
and
on there?
he went on there to talk about like life after Disney and like Riverdale, and he came in like with like a like the 6 button down like open shirt. He just came there
Oh
like,
God.
and he just decided, like, they're indoors, and he's just all of a sudden, I don't think he's ever publicly done this. He just starts, he whips out a cigarette and he's just smoking the entire like podcast, and he's acting like super hard, and he's talking about like super weird things about like his first kiss and how like weird he was about it, and like his first time he lost his virginity, and just talking about how problematic-ish Disney was in terms of raising children. And they, like, all the Disney kids were like in essentially a Disney high school of that thing. And Logan Paul and Jake Paul, they're in that. They're Disney kids. And so they grew up in that very popular, they were in the Disney era like two after us. And then they jumped straight to YouTube and they made mad money. And it's like, I get it. Like they could be smart. Jake Paul probably not, but like they have a social media brain for sure. And the thing is, I don't think you can say that's smart. I think that there's a certain amount of brain rot that gets you the same. You know how like everything's a circle? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you could be
Yeah.
so far Republican, you end up Democratic somehow. That's the same thing here. Like, you could be so genius with social media, you then see the other side of the circle where people are so dumb it still works. Like, and then they become super famous. And I think that's, sure, they matured, sure, they got smarter, but I don't know if it's like all genius beneath it. Logan Paul maybe, but like, bro, some of the things is just
Let,
like,
let, let's say they maxed out the social media meter and that was it. Would that be a better way to put it?
yeah, yeah, and I don't know if that generally makes you, because like, I think that they like had to sign on some like real estate deal of like someone pitched them like timeshares and scam them like, oh, this is gonna be big in 5 years, and then like, yeah, I have lots of money to expend, right? But then that money like starts accumulating and accumulating, payments and payments and payments, investments, and I think that that's probably where they're at. That like, that's the kind of people that would end up falling for that, right? Very naive money. And a lot of things, especially when you have money, there's a lot, like, from a place of uh like not privilege, any door is a good door. Like, there's a lot of
Yeah.
doors of opportunities, and a lot of those doors are beneficial. But the thing is, as you get more money, those doors become more numerous and less beneficial. And the thing is, there's more people coming at you for that money because behind that door is a man who wants to take your money, right? And so, like, I think that's what they fell into. They fell into a bunch of doors that a reasonable person could fall under. Not even a dumb person, a reasonable person. There's too many of those. And then they just lose their money at the end of the day. And then they have to pull crazy stuff off, like these boxing things, which, like, I don't know the money side behind how that
I
stuff.
heard they're very profitable, actually.
I would think so. Maybe they weren't at the start. I would hope so. But then, like, you know, I don't know how exactly, because there's a lot of finance stuff involved in there with Dana White. That was Dana White, bro. I saw a
What about Dana
documentary
White?
on this dude. Um, this guy, so UFC. This is the guy who I think it's UFC, right? Like MMA,
Yeah,
UFC fighting. He's like the
he's the guy.
Donald Trump behind that world. He's the progenitor of a certain mentality. And you know, he's done a good job for their world, but he's also done a lot of bad things. And one thing is, like, right now is like fighter pay. But the thing was, apparently he was like, UFC was super low key, and they finally got their break in mainstream. And I think I forgot who they signed with, but they signed with 43 episodes of fights a year that he had to fill um in order to get this brand deal or whatever, like this channel, and that comes with so much money. It was like huge thing. But then the pandemic hit, and so he had to figure out a way to do it. And so what he did, and I did, like, I want to look into this more. I was very, if you guys realize, I had a very animal focused thing. But what I was thinking about when I was connecting the dots was, Sai asked me, or no, I asked Sai last time if, like, we had apes and they're sentient, like, do we consider them the same, like, people? And I was like, what about fights? Like, would you guys separate?
Now I'm wondering how this ties over to Dana White.
No, and so then because then when the gorilla thing, I was like, oh, Dana White would definitely create a separate league, and especially for this case, because he created something called Fight Island. So
Is that like a battle royale?
so during the pandemic, he needed to get 43 fights, but everything was shut down. So he couldn't get fighters, he couldn't get, like, camera people, he couldn't get people to sign in ahead of time, or sponsors or anything, because like, things were closing down, and it was like a loose rule, right? They couldn't technically, like, if they were in activity, then they would get shut down. But, like, plant doing all the logistics of it, that's fine. So what he did was he created this place that nobody knew about. He told all the press about it last minute, so they couldn't call in to tell the authorities. And so that's how he ran these things.
That's smart.
Yeah, and he didn't tell anybody until the last minute, and he ran this Fight Island thing. And I was like, what the hell? This is the craziest thing. But that's not where the buck stops with this man. He also now, female leagues. You know, people don't want to see women hurt each other. That seems to be what the logic is with combat sports with women. It's like, you know, you would think, like, hey, that would be a very popular sport, right? Skimpy clothes, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, for serious
Dead or
fighting,
alive, but real life.
but for serious fighting, I think there's a brain thing where it's like, it's not the serotonin to see women hurt, I guess, on the larger spectrum. I don't know the full logic behind it, but he took that and was like, you know what? Slapping. Perfect.
Oh, slap fight. Yeah, I know. Okay.
You seen that? Have you seen
Oh
that?
yeah, of course
That
I've seen
shit
it.
is deadly. Like, that is so crazy to me. Like, guys, if you Google this, it's like, there's a men's league and a women's league, but there's no chill. These people are out
No
to
safety
kill.
precautions.
No headgear, and it's literally palm to anywhere above your neck, so they can hit your jaw, hit your face, hit whole parts of you. And some people, like, literally look like they came out lobotomized, literally lobotomized. Like, I think you've seen those clips, right?
I've seen so many clips where, like, they hit him and then they start doing front flips, somersaults and stuff.
And I'm sitting there like, okay, like the thing is
They have
that
to get dragged off stage
yeah,
after one slap.
one
Yeah, I've
one
seen it.
slap, guys. These people train for this, trained to hit someone one hit, and like I think they're killing people. Like 5 years from now, these people are dying like
I,
from brain damage.
I think. I mean, they stopped the show, right?
They stopped, and that's actually the next thing I want to talk about because he replaced it with something crazy.
Wait, did he really? He replaced it with
I
something
think
else?
he replaced it because it was advertised. I was like, this man needs to stop advertising. He was like Dana White in a, and I was like, all right, what is he this time? It was a spanking, women spank. I was
Yo,
like,
my man Dana White. Hey, does he need investors, par? You got your bank account ready? What's up?
yo, I sent that to my wife and I was like, what do
You're
you
like,
think
babe, I'm
about
sorry, I'm
this?
gonna have to watch this next Sunday.
Because I'm sitting there like, this is the evolution of an idea. He started off with the women's league of MMA, Ronda Rousey, whatever. But there seems to be a decline, right? Psychology, that's how it is. So he's like, all right, less physical, slapping each other as hard as you can. Okay, people think people are dying. And getting lobotomized.
People think people are getting lobotomized from my show. I gotta switch it up a little bit.
Spanking.
Can't have those claims with my name.
And it's literally like I don't see. I need to bring this up first because I couldn't just send that as a DM to you because you also told me that sometimes your wife sees them, and so if she just saw a booty cheek on the thing.
No. Hey, no. We get good laughs. She has the same sense, maybe not the
No,
same
I
sense,
know.
but
I was
she
just
has a sense of humor
I
like
get
mine.
it, but I just didn't want like I need you to preface it like this is what we talked about in the podcast, and then she'll understand. I don't want that to be like a first impression, right? Kind of thing where it's like a memorable thing. Oh, you sent my husband booty cheeks. Like that's not a good thing to be
I like to
remembered.
imagine just like titties flapping everywhere. It's like, oh god,
No, like the
must be a par video.
let me tell you, I'm not trying to listen, guys. Listen to this at any time of the day you will. I'm not thinking about that. But the angles Dana
Hey
White
guys, I'm
used,
not thinking about ass cheeks, but let me tell you, when I see when I see a badonkadonk, I go wild. Is that what you're trying to say, par?
the angles of what he did tells me he hired Pornhub directors. Let me tell you, bro. Like this dude, he got the slow-mo cam also to see
You got a
the
slow motion cam just
to
for
see
the
the
ass cheeks.
recoil.
Yeah.
Both sides, by the way. I don't know why the other side is necessary. I'm just gonna throw it out there, but
You know, he knows how to throw a good show. I'll tell you what.
and it all like the thing is like that's the evolution, and like I don't know if I should be impressed, disappointed in humanity, in him, but like he's a man, like he's one of those people who was born at the age of 4, said I want people to hurt each other, and I will be damned if anybody stops me, and I will make millions off of that. That's one of those things. It's like any other person, he's even had people who left his team and made competitors because they stopped believing in him. They thought the UFC was whack, and then because he became successful, they started their own separate leagues, right? And they're all not that great. And at the end of the day, Dana White persevered through the pandemic, persevered through misogyny, every single problem that you could think of. He's gone through it somehow, and he landed on spanking each other. I'm like, this is so crazy that this is on
Is
cable television. This is
is the
crazy.
show working well?
I don't know. I just saw a few TikToks. Like I saw two, and I was like, this isn't made up. Like this is a real
Like
thing.
he's doing this.
Yeah, because like one deep fake maybe like someone made this
Yeah.
shit up. Someone edited this. But then, or like this is a Pornhub thing, and they stitched it with the thing, and they're making it. No, I saw multiple. I'm like, no way.
You're like, I've watched like at least 10 of these episodes and it's real.
I'll be truthful. Okay, so the easiest way for me to find out if this was a real thing was I just had to check the account that posted it, and there was a bunch of other fighters, and I was like, wow, is it all the same? And
Is this downloadable? And then that's when I downloaded a separate app just so I could get Get all these TikToks downloaded.
Just so TikTok wouldn't get the data. No, and then I saw a few, and then, but here's the thing, guys. I know how to use TikTok. That was a controlled situation. And you know, because told you about a bunch of animals and all those TikToks, sure, and diving and murder mysteries. Surely I couldn't get a bunch of booty. And so most of my TikToks are right now about animals, about
Educational.
educational, about health stuff because I've a few doctors, and then babies, and that ends up conflating because doctors and babies, and then it's a boom, a bigger thing.
Yeah.
Because I have a son, not because I'm the Dalai Lama, and then
My name is not Tom Brady.
not Tom Brady. None of those names are here. Uh, yo, we'd be so out of pocket to have them as guests and still say these jokes.
Do you think they would understand the jokes, or do you think they'd be upset?
I think like there's a certain amount of like brain damage involved. We talked about it. I mean, Tom Brady was in the NFL, right? How many those dudes have brain damage? That's a thing.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like,
Well,
he
okay,
was a
but I don't know Tom
quarterback.
Brady's family. Like, is this something his family does often? Like, maybe that's a thing too,
I
right?
don't think any of his family does it. I think his
Yeah,
like his
I
other
was trying to give him the
brother.
benefit of the doubt.
No, I like maybe his dad, but that's different, right? Like it's like his siblings you have to look at.
Oh wait, I think his dad does do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I think his
Yeah,
dad.
his dad kisses him on the lips too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's not to bring the conversation back there, but like what were we talking about? I was saying I'm not.
We're talking about Dana White.
Yeah, yeah. No, we weren't. There's something that prompted me to be like, I'm not. That's not what we're talking about. Oh, because my TikTok has the kids. Yeah, yeah. Because I'm a father.
Your
But
TikTok has nothing but kids.
hey, I mean,
I'm kidding.
some days, it's funny because you're not supposed to give your kid like infant baby like screen time. Like I'm on the fence a little bit because I'm like, you want to. I want to introduce them to technology, right? That's not what I'm doing
Yeah,
out here. But there's a thing with like, especially this young, is like if you do that, then they'll never play with toys, physical toys. And the thing about that is there's so much like dexterity that would be lost if they don't interact with their physical thing because they're so stimulated by like the blue light and the moving picture, right? That's way more interesting than a block. But that block is 100-fold way more beneficial for so many, whether it's balance, whether it's spatial awareness, whether it's depth, whether it's or like like the finger muscles, all that stuff. There's so many reasons, right? And at the same time they are discovering there are certain media that is healthy. There's this one creator, if you are a parent, Miss Rachel, actually she's like a master's PhD child psychologist, like whatever, and she makes videos that are for children to look at. And one of the funny things was there's testimonials on TikTok, which is the greatest thing because there's parents who are like, I raised my kid and they watched your videos all the time. And the testimonial was like this kid was like 6 months or 7 months, and it was they were crawling, or they were 8 months and they were crawling, and the mom said like, can you tell me what a sheep does? And or they weren't crawling, they were sitting, and the kid, can tell me what a sheep does, and the kid went on all fours and acted like a sheep and went bah, and I'm like, yo, that's crazy. Like that's so effective. If like you can single out this learning mechanism, getting your child to act out an animal at 8 months is so wild.
okay, that's pretty pog.
Yeah, yeah. And so I forget why I was saying that. Oh. The other thing that is useful um uh for at least from what I've seen is occasionally you scroll on and there's a baby who's like crying, or a baby who's laughing, or a baby who's having some kind of emotion, sounding out words. And the thing is, my thing is like the babies, like I can't understand the baby, like, but you can understand their cues and various things like that. There's books on that, sure. You learn when you're a parent, you also learn your child's like, it's instinctual also. But like babies definitely can like to a certain extent like talk to each other. Like I've interacted with too many babies where you there's like very different, and you put them in together and they're like, ba 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 ba, but and then they have like a whole rhythm, and then it's like a back and forth, right?
They
And
found a whole language.
yeah, and so then sometimes when a baby comes up on my thing and then they'll like make a laughing like sound, my son will just start laughing, and it's just like a cool thing. And then like the baby's like talking, then like my son like looks over and he starts like responding as if like the baby's talking to him, and it's like such a cool thing because I'm just looking at it like baby babble, but then I'm like, huh, maybe he said something like profound, like maybe like this baby's like, oh
He
yeah.
found the cure to cancer.
Like I want to know, like I wish like we could figure out what they're saying. Maybe they're having deep thoughts, you know, who
Yeah.
knows.
I like to imagine your son is like constantly looking for the cure for cancer online.
Hey, he might be, that would be an anime story for sure. He's trying to
Oh, and then
cure
he
me.
and then he helps you. Yeah,
You
yeah.
forgot about that plot point right there. You're like, oh wait, Par has cancer.
Par has cancer. Yeah. No, that could be a big thing. That'd be kind of
No,
cool.
yeah, like I always thought about that, where I was just like, I would give my son enough of like all my medical notes that I have on my stuff, which is a lot. Like even my brother hasn't had the time to look at all of them, and he's in the medical industry, and he's in like I think one of his rotations was oncology, and like so every time I send him a bunch of things that I've covered or talked about. And sometimes he'll like control find it and be like, oh yeah, this is what Par was talking about, blah blah. And I was like, one day, yeah, like I'll just Google Drive send him all of my things, and it's like, this is what Dad discovered. See what you can do with it, and then like, because there's a lot you could probably do with it.
Continue his research.
Yeah, because I talked to my my surgeon and my doctor about like these possible avenues. This is what I mean by my doctor's like shooting the shit with me, because like an appointment usually is like 15 minutes. Like they don't like spending time with you, and these guys get paid Bezos bucks, bro, like crazy. Like I like after insurance, I'm like, wait a second, like you still get paid directly that much, like from me? What do you mean? Like that's an insane amount. I'm like, ah, you guys are really great, sure, but like some of these guys, I don't know, that's a lot of money. But that being said, sometimes with me, they'll spend in like an hour with me, and like the first 15 minutes is like actual doctor, like patient doctor stuff, and then we start talking about like some other stuff, and then we just talk about like these
You
random
guys start
things.
talking about the Dana White show.
No, yeah, we did talk about like random
Did
things
you
like
see
that.
Tiffany's ass slap? That
Like
shit was
with
great.
during the pandemic, me and my surgeon were talking about various things, Dr. Fauci and Trump, and like we were just straight up talking about politicians at the end of
Yeah.
it. And but the other time with my oncologist, we were talking about like, I was like, what if we did this genetic thing? What if that thing? What if this thing? And I was like giving her various like studies that are being funded right now, and we would talk about it. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. Like if I could invest in something, it'd be that. And she'd be like, I can't invest in. I'm pretty sure she does. She
Yeah.
is.
You open up the bank account, there's like maybe $10 in there, and they're like, yo, I wish I could invest this.
Yeah, yeah. I just like, I mean, back then when it's reality. I was like, I wish I could invest in and open up wallet. It's just flies flying out. Crickets.
Or
Oh
it's like
no.
me where I'm like, hey, I'm gonna invest in these fourth party cryptocurrencies.
I thought you weren't gonna bring that up on the podcast.
I thought that was really funny.
I like how you go in ebb and flow with that subject, where sometimes you're like, I don't want to talk about it, and then sometimes you just
Yeah,
bring
we
it
don't have
up.
to. Yeah, we don't have to talk about cryptocurrency, but let me tell you, I was a strong believer for about 2 years.
Oh, the thing is, you said something very important. The third part, like all of this extra stuff, is what messed you up. But the thing is, like at the core, cryptocurrency is fine. At the core of it, it's just
Hey,
99% of it right now is problematic.
cryptocurrency can still work. It just has a couple of small bumps it has to go over.
The main bumps is it's oxymoronic. Everything that you people market it for, decentralized, free from like an entity to control it, complete lies. That's not how the world
Oh
would work.
yeah.
There's no like
If that was
decentralized.
actually how it was, the government would shut that down so fast.
I mean, they're trying to, and there is a world where it could get to that, but the decentralized that was effective for it at our current standpoint is not the idealized central decentralized system that is touted. There's almost no world where it's that decentralized, because we just don't have the energy and computing like thing to handle like a completely decentralized thing. And then you'd also need the entire population to sign on, which is another impossible thing. And then the other part of it is, yeah, because the United States or China or Russia won't just buy up their flow of an easy amount or just make up money, because that's what they do, and then buy the crypto and then just become giant whales, which is essentially the same issue we have now. Decentralized, the crypto doesn't necessarily solve that, but there's other avenues where crypto and blockchain and all that stuff is valuable. It's just, with anything, the first few years are going to be rough, right? The first few years of internet, first few years of credit card, like
Don't give me
money.
hope.
It's all bad. And no, the thing is, you don't, that what you went through was in the past. What you went through was in the past.
No, don't give me hope. Who knows? Maybe I can still recoup my investments.
No. See, the thing is, the best time to safely get into crypto is when it's too late. That is honestly the best time. It's like, you'll know when it's like you'll get like 2x, because in the grand scheme of investing, it the most people get like a normal 2x is too much. Like, you'll 5% gain, right? That's the 10% gain, right? Like,
Yeah.
even that is crazy. But that's honest, if you're ever gonna get crypto, that's when most of the population will do it, right? That's just how stats work in this regard.
You're trying to tell somebody like me, a guy that would willingly fight a bear, a losing battle, to use common sense? No, that's hearsay.
That's hearsay. That's
Yeah.
hearsay. And you know what else is hearsay? The length of this podcast episode.
Yes, I was about to say that too. I was like, I wonder if he'll pick up the cue of hearsay.
No, I mean, you didn't bring up your word. Oh, the word of the day isn't for this. That was for the other thing. I was confusing the podcast, but yeah, we crossed the 2 hour mark. So that's when I was like winding it down. But then I forget what I said.
We crossed the Dalai Lama threshold of the day.
No. We're not gonna name anything after the Dalai Lama. He doesn't need more. You know what's funny?
He needs the clout.
Back when I was nervous about public speaking, so I took summer classes at Harvard. You don't need the context behind that. It's just an Asian thing.
Yeah.
And so, fun part, the networking was great. I got to make a lot of friends with a lot of really smart people who are doing crazy things now. And one of them, really dope guy, he heard that I wasn't great at public, or I wasn't, like, he thought I'd be really good at public speaking, but I was like really nervous. So his idea was, let's just go out to the middle of I forget what it's called, Herald Square or whatever whatever is next to Harvard Square, I guess, and just shout out random things. And so what ended up happening was, we had that at plan, and then we went to the square, and there was a crowd already there. And
they were waiting for you.
And it was around this is crazy, and I don't remember the full context, but I have it on video because I videotaped him. And there was like I'm not making this shit up. There was a Dalai Lama appreciation, like, kind of thing. Gosh. It was this gathering of that, and so my friend, really white dude. At that time, I didn't even really know what the Dalai Lama was, because this was back in high school. So I was just like, cool. It sounds important. I imagine it's a religious figure. Seems Asian, right? I was profiling the fuck out of it.
He seems Asian enough.
So then I looked at like my friend, super white dude. But really dope white dude. And he, at least at the time, I can't speak for him now. It's been a decade or more. And so he just, like, after the Dalai Lama dude, maybe it was the Dalai Lama. It was a sizable crowd. Maybe it was. I don't know. But after the Dalai Lama stops, he goes up and he starts giving a speech about the Dalai Lama and saying random, like, he completely made shit up. But then he also added truth about, like, real facts and stuff. And he was like looking at me, and he's just like, and the crowd was like eating it up. And he was like trying to like inspire me. And then so he was done. And so he was like, and I think this is what happened. He's like, and here's my friend to tell you more. And he like inserted me. And I was just like,
you had to hype up the Dalai Lama.
I didn't say shit. I was just like, I really appreciate everyone here. This was such a great thing. And then people are just like off of his high clapping. And I remember just being like so out of body during that whole thing, because it was just like, but then I was like, yo, this guy's impressive. That was pretty cool. But that when the Dalai Lama comes back, I always think about that. I was like, I almost preached the good word of the Dalai Lama.
You are almost one of those guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Whenever the Dalai Lama sticks out his tongue, even for cereal, you just jump right at the scene of it.
Oh God.
It's
I
great.
don't I don't I want I don't want to end on the Dalai Lama. What else
No. I think there's no better way to end than that.
can we the devil's hole? Honestly, the Dalai Lama went down the devil's hole, right? I think
Yeah, he went down the devil holes of kids.
I was thinking like more like figuratively, but
Yeah, wait, I meant it figuratively too. What are you talking
okay,
about?
maybe we meant different figures, because your figure and I was thinking like Dante's Inferno, like multiple levels of
Yeah, that's
hell.
where I was at.
Okay. We're in the same boat. We're in the same
Yeah,
boat.
same boat.
And so since we're on the same boat, guys, we'll end it here. Thank you guys for listening to the 50
Hey, thank you guys
podcast.
again.
Hopefully you liked I think today's episode can be reasonably surmised as Par's
Par's
week on
stories.
TikTok.
Story time with Part Vision is what the title should be.
Yeah, that was and if you guys want that to be a regular thing, I think we could do that. It was kind of funny because honestly, if we just stuck to the stories, it was a more tame time frame, because I got all my stories out within an hour. And then we just kept on
that's not
talking.
bad.
Yeah, when I was looking at the
Eventually, we should paywall the entire podcast.
time, or oh my God. Shh. No, but like,
I'm kidding.
no,
kidding.
but I mean, some people do it like the first hour is not paywall, and then the second hour is paywall. I've seen that.
Yeah.
So that is the thing, but we wouldn't do that because the 50-50 is just a wholesome place. Wink.
Yeah.
says
all we do is talk about the Dalai Lama.
says the two guys
That's
who
our greatest
said
sin.
if Marlboro to get sponsored on a movie and it went against both of our morals, we'd be like,
Hey,
yeah.
I would sell my soul for money. At this point, with the financial situation I'm in, I'd sell my soul for that moolah, even if it's $2.
Fair enough. Hey guys, if you work at Marlboro, tell them we have a cracked movie idea.
Yeah.
There's the two best storytellers that you could possibly get to tell this story.
We know sci-fi directors. Tell them that too.
Yeah, that too. And we also analyze the entire last few months have been us analyzing a sci-fi story about a genius scientist and his world inside of an egg, a technological egg.
Yes. It's the Wonder Egg Adventure.
The Wonder Egg Adventure. So make sure to let our future sponsors know about that. Appreciate you guys. One thing I will say is I really dropped the ball on when it came to picking the topic titles. It went from the best right hand, because that was left over from a One Piece thing. So I just like that's
Nice.
funny thing for us to start out on. I don't know if anyone noticed that. And then the second one was holes ?
Nice. Getting better.
And then we started talking about I think we were talking about the Dalai Lama, and then I changed it to animals.
I mean, he is a dog. I mean, dog, goodness gracious me.
I was just thinking like maybe I'd bring it back to the bears and the whales and the sharks, because that's what we were talking about, but I didn't change it there. That whole time it said holes, and then like
So we have what like the milky right hand, the deep hole in animals. Nice.
oh my
What would go to topic titles?
I tried. I'm trying to do a good thing for you guys. I hope you guys appreciate that. Let me know.
I like to imagine they're scrolling through the video to see what topics they should like pick up on right
No.
away, and they're like holes, animals. Why are they talking about the Dalai Lama right here? Like, just so many questions.
No, that is exactly why I want to change the titles, because then it would make it easier to like timestamp it, because then I'd scroll to see where the title changes, and then I could do that. But I tried doing. I think I did that in the first episode, then I just fell off, and then this episode, it wasn't even about falling off about the annotate. I fell off on the top.
I like to imagine we're just slowly giving up. We're like, yeah, titles, it doesn't matter. Episode number, whatever, dude.
We gave up on
We're just slowly giving up more and more.
No, but like when you really think about it, Does that shit matter? Does it matter?
No,
No.
it doesn't.
Yeah. It's not gonna matter. And honestly, we came up with a cracked reason why episode numbers don't matter. It's honestly, I can't think of. We're not the Joe Rogan podcast with 1,100 episodes, right? Like, if we crack 1,000, it's gonna be a viewer who tells us that. Like, we're not gonna be keeping count.
Oh, no, I'd keep count for 1,000. I feel like that's a big number.
Fair enough.
1,000?
Fair enough. Fair enough. I
That's
would keep count. I
huge.
would. But
That's
like,
huge.
300. Would you care? Would you be like, oh, we crossed 300?
I feel like every 100 would be special.
Fine. Okay. 420.
Nah.
Yeah. A viewer 100%. That episode is going to be all people like, I can't believe they didn't bring up the 420. Like, nothing about that. Which is ironic considering what we were talking about before.
Yeah.
um
Potential sponsorships.
Yeah, especially. And hey guys, if you want to sponsor an episode with your brand that may not be easy to get sponsors for, just know that there's no better place to go to than the 50.
You know, it'd be great
What?
if the only people that listen to this podcast were CEOs of big companies.
Wait, you mean to tell me they're not? Every week I read the chat and that's the impression I get.
Yeah, Elon Musk is here. Vodzon is here. Just like a whole bunch of like big wigs in the tech space. They're all here watching us. Even Bill Gates. Jeffrey Epstein and his ghost is watching us too.
You know,
he came in for the Dalai Lama portion.
The thing is, all you need is one. Like in the grand scheme of things, and we know that there's a few of them in the One Piece community, because like there's a King of Lightning, bro, has literally Saudi princes behind him. There's no other way. And if one of them ends up on the 50/50 podcast, shout outs to you.
Would you invite them to like talk to us for like an episode?
I
like
mean,
a guest?
okay, this is a whole can of worms about like Logan Paul and like those kinds of celebrities, and the amount of like backwards bending they've done for like Saudi money and Saudi clout. And like I would almost, because there's a lot of rumors. I mean, we're in the social media realm. I'm sure you heard rumors about Dubai and things that goes on. And if you get flown out, I mean, we wouldn't, but if we did, that would almost be scarier, honestly. And so like, listen, they
yeah, if a guy from a different country tries to fly you out for a weekend, don't do it. It doesn't matter if it's Dubai, Saudi, like don't go.
But like, hey, if there's like a $1 million offer to come on the show a few episodes, sure.
Yeah, if you want a guest spot, $1 million is the base level.
Yeah, we should call this episode $1 million podcast. Just the most basic, vague things people Google, like episode 1 of a podcast and how to make $1 million or something like that, right?
That would be a way to game the system. If we are called the episode 1 podcast, we could technically just take other podcast names and just use it for our titles.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
Like I listened to the official podcast, so like, what if we say like, oh, this is the official channel episode 1, right? Just something like, and then we could have like a small topic where we joke about it for like 1 minute, talk about the word official, and then boom, they can't say we clickbaited or it was malpractice. It was like no, we talked about this topic for a minute.
We should definitely look that up, and I want to end this in 20 more seconds because then it'll be 2. And so I'm gonna end it there, but I'm definitely
Logan Paul podcast episode 1.
Yeah,
there we go.
It's impulsive. Yeah, exactly. This is cracked idea. We'll research it. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out.